welcome to Tales in the Dark. I know many of you enjoy relaxing with these videos, so I recommend turning down the volume until my voice is barely audible. It'll make the experience even more soothing. Before you close your eyes, let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and enjoy listening. Story 1. Amidst the mystery of an abandoned hotel on the outskirts of the town, I roamed through corridors cloaked in layers of dust and neglect. Each step echoed through the empty halls, a whisper of the past longing to be heard. In a room forgotten by time, faded murals clung to the walls, their once vibrant hues now mere remnants of a bygone era. Scenes of grandeur had turned into spectral remnants, their essence hauntingly beautiful in its decay. The air hung heavy with the scent of peeling paint and stagnant memories, enveloping me in a shroud of forgotten tales. With a delicate touch, I traced the intricate lines of the murals, feeling the weight of untold stories seeping through the walls themselves. As the late afternoon sun filtered through the grimy windows, shadows danced across the faded artwork, breathing a semblance of life into the stillness. One mural in particular drew me in. A ballroom frozen in time, ethereal dancers locked in an eternal waltz. Their ghostly forms swayed imperceptibly, caught in a moment that defied the passage of years. The more I gazed upon the scene, the more it revealed hidden intricacies, faces that shifted with the light, dancers whose movements danced on the edge of perception. Amidst the gentle creaking of the aged wooden floors, a melody of the past intertwined with my exploration, a soft symphony of forgotten whispers. With each new mural I uncovered, a new chapter unfolded before me, a tapestry of interconnected mysteries woven into the very fabric of the hotel's walls. In the dining room, a feast immortalized in paint sprawled across the expanse of a wall, frozen guests forever captured in a moment of celebration. Their expressions held a quiet tranquility, their glasses raised in a timeless toast. The rain outside added its own rhythm to the symphony, a soothing cadence that melded seamlessly with the ambiance of the forgotten hotel. Water trickled through the ceiling, leaving dark trails down the walls, yet the murals remained untouched by time's cruel hand. Where the water touched, the scenes remained pristine, as if guarded by an unseen veil of protection. And in the grand entrance, a mural unlike any other beckoned, depicting the hotel in its former glory, alive with the bustle of guests and the warmth of hospitality. But it was my reflection in a painted window that held me spellbound, a mirror image frozen in time, yet eerily vivid. As my hand reached out to touch the anomaly, a warmth unlike the chill of the plaster enveloped me, drawing me closer to the painted world. The rain's lullaby faded into a distant melody, laughter and music intermingling in a dance of memory. The murals pulsed with a newfound vitality, colors deepening, figures stirring with a life of their own. Time itself seemed to bend and sway, the golden light of the windows casting a halo of enchantment over the scene. Perfume lingered in the air, mingling with the phantom scents of a bygone era, weaving a tapestry of sensory nostalgia. Even as I stepped away, the magic lingered, a subtle enchantment that clung to the very essence of the hotel. Night descended, shadows stretching like tendrils of darkness, signaling the end of my reverie. Yet as I turned to leave, a curious sight gave me pause, a new figure in the entrance mural, mirroring my own stance, a silent observer of the painted world. I never returned to the abandoned hotel, but its memory remained etched in my mind, a haunting melody that played in the quiet depths of night. In moments between wakefulness and slumber, I could still hear the echoes of distant music, the laughter of timeless revelry. And in my dreams, I danced with the spectral figures, a part of their eternal ballroom waltz, forever intertwined in a story that defied the hands of time. Story 2. On a tranquil afternoon within an abandoned art gallery, I found myself immersed in a world of broken frames and forgotten canvases. A heavy silence hung in the air, broken only by the soft echo of footsteps that seemed to match my pace. The scent of old varnish and musty canvas filled the room, evoking memories of joy and sorrow intertwined within these silent walls. Though the gallery had long been deserted, a mysterious pull had led me here on this particular day. Dust particles danced in the streams of sunlight, filtering through the grimy windows, casting an ethereal glow upon the weathered floorboards. Tracing my fingers along the textured wallpaper, I felt the history embedded in its worn patterns. The footsteps persisted, a gentle presence always beside me, never faltering in their rhythm. Initially, I attributed them to the settling of the building or my own echoes in the vast space. Yet, there was a gracefulness in their cadence, a lightness that set them apart. Passing by empty frames, their former contents now mere memories etched on faded walls, I ventured deeper into the gallery. The air grew cooler, carrying a faint hint of oil paint mingled with age. In a secluded chamber, a lone painting caught my eye, a portrait of a young woman in a white dress, her gaze seemingly tracking my every move. Unlike the dilapidated surroundings, the canvas remained remarkably intact. A small brass plate beneath it bore a date from a bygone era, devoid of any artist's signature or title. The accompanying footsteps paused as I studied the portrait, the room enveloped in a profound silence. Then a faint rustle of fabric, as though a dress brushed against the floor behind me, sent shivers down my spine. The temperature dropped, and goosebumps prickled my skin. Passing through an adjoining doorway, I entered the grand exhibition hall, its towering windows obscured by neglect and time. Rain cascaded outside, blending with the enigmatic footsteps in a rhythmic symphony. As I traversed the hall, new details emerged: abandoned paintbrushes, a toppled easel, a palette frozen in time with remnants of dried paint. Everything lay veiled in dust, except for a patch near the far wall where the floor appeared recently disturbed. The footsteps grew more distinct here, their pattern diverging subtly from my own, creating an eerie echo as they followed my every move. The sound of fabric whispering and a delicate hint of lavender perfume filled the air. Out of the corner of my eye, fleeting movements teased my peripheral vision, a flash of white, a phantom figure. Yet, when I turned to confront these apparitions, only swirling dust greeted me in the dim light. The rain persisted, casting shifting shadows that danced across the floor like liquid silver. A door beckoned me to an artist's studio, where dried paint tubes littered a workbench, and an unfinished canvas stood on an easel. The painting depicted a scene familiar yet transformed, the exhibition hall now aglow with light and bustling with life, its walls adorned with art long gone. As I gazed at the incomplete masterpiece, the footsteps encircled me, the scent of lavender growing more potent, the chill in the air palpable. A soft humming, barely audible above the rain, resonated, a melody on the brink of recognition. Sunlight filtered through the windows, casting a golden hue despite the overcast sky outside. It dawned on me that the footsteps mirrored my heartbeat in perfect harmony. With deliberate slowness, I turned, and there she was, the woman from the portrait, ethereal as morning mist, her white dress billowing in an unseen breeze. Her gentle smile and outstretched hand exuded a warmth that transcended the physical realm. The lavender fragrance enveloped me, her translucent fingers clasping a paintbrush with delicate grace. Gesturing towards the unfinished canvas in the main hall, she imparted a silent message. This gallery was her domain, her unfinished opus. The footsteps I had trailed belonged to her, a spectral curator tending to her eternal exhibition. She wasn't a haunting presence, but a creative spirit, perpetually crafting, ever watchful. I returned to the gallery on occasion, walking its corridors in companionable silence with my unseen guide. Sometimes I offer fresh blooms beneath her portrait, and on those days the footsteps seem lighter, intertwined with the floral scent and the lingering aroma of lavender. In moments of stillness, Her almost familiar hum drifts through the air as she continues her perpetual rounds, tending to her eternal showcase. The gallery remains secluded, its mysteries preserved from the public eye. Some artistry thrives in solitude, certain tales best left shrouded in gentle enigma. Yet, on rainy afternoons when the sunlight casts its enchanting spell through the tall windows, I glimpse her work unfolding on the unfinished canvas, each brushstroke a testament to her timeless artistry, in perfect synchrony with those echoing footsteps. Story 3. In the dusty passageways of a time-worn manor, I stumbled upon a faded tapestry hanging loosely on a weathered stone wall. With a gentle nudge, it unveiled a hidden door nestled within the ancient masonry. A cool, earthy aroma mingled with the faint scent of wilting roses greeted me as I ventured inside. I found myself in a secret chamber, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight filtering through a tall, slender window, painting silver patterns on the wooden floor below. The room, smaller than anticipated, about 15 feet square, was adorned with shelves that stretched from floor to ceiling along 3 walls. Each shelf held a collection of enigmatic artifacts: crystal bottles brimming with vibrant liquids, leather-bound tomes devoid of titles, and intricately carved wooden boxes veiled in shadows. The air within this chamber felt dense, as if time itself had slowed to a languid pace. A grand old clock stood stoically in a corner, its pendulum motionless, its hands frozen at the stroke of midnight. The soft murmur of wind seeping through unseen crevices created a melodic undertone that synchronized with my own breath. Approaching one of the shelves, my attention was instantly drawn to a particular bottle emitting a faint inner glow. The warmth of the glass under my fingertips revealed a peculiar sight. My reflection, gazing back at me with eyes that did not belong to me. Kind and ancient, those eyes held a wisdom that whispered of untold secrets. As I set the bottle down, the foreign gaze dissipated like morning mist. Among the books, one stood out with a spine embellished in silver threads that shimmered in the moon's light. When I opened it, the pages remained blank, yet beneath my touch, I discerned faint indentations as if invisible words had been inscribed. The paper felt unusually soft, akin to silk caressing my skin. A dusty music box rested on a small table at the room's center. Its surface bore a perfect circular trace, as though a phantom hand had been tracing its edges. Upon lifting the lid, instead of melodies, I heard distant whispers in a language that teased at understanding. The murmurs faded into the recesses of my mind, merging with my own thoughts. With each object I scrutinized, more questions arose than answers found. A mirror mounted on a wall reflected the room behind me in a distorted manner, showcasing shelves arranged in configurations that defied reality. The moonlight in its reflection cast new shadows, and fleeting movements caught my peripheral vision, though solitude enveloped me entirely. Time ebbed and flowed within that sanctum. Minutes felt like hours, yet the grandfather clock's silence held an enigmatic rhythm beyond comprehension. The air grew warmer, carrying hints of aged parchment and a sweetness reminiscent of vanilla, or perhaps a memory of it. In a concealed corner, obscured by stacks of journals, I uncovered a plain wooden chest. Unlike its adorned counterparts, this box bore no embellishments, only sleek, dark wood that seemed to absorb the moon's radiance. Upon touching it, a gentle vibration akin to a cat's purr tingled through my arm. The lock, devoid of a traditional keyhole, sported concentric circles that rippled under my touch, aligning in response to an unseen sequence. With a soft exhale, the lid yielded, revealing a solitary item within. A letter inscribed in a fluid script that shifted and morphed as I attempted to decipher it. Addressed to the one who finds this room, its words slipped through my grasp, leaving behind a profound sense of connection to something vast and enigmatic, yet intimately personal. As I returned the letter to its resting place, I noticed a shift in the moonlight, now tinged with a golden hue hinting at the approaching dawn. The chamber felt transformed, not less enigmatic, but strangely familiar, as if it acknowledged my presence and shared glimpses of its mysteries. Though aware of my need to depart, I lingered, absorbing the final details. Dancing motes of dust in the brightening light, subtle patterns etched into the wooden floor that whispered ancient tales, and the soft creak of settling shelves in the warming air. Retreating through the doorway, allowing the tapestry to veil the chamber once more, I carried not answers, but a deeper reverence for the enigmas veiled within the shadows of antiquity. Sometimes, in quiet moments, I still sense the warmth of that wooden chest beneath my fingertips, still hear the distant whispers at the edge of slumber. And on certain moonlit nights, when the wind murmurs through empty corridors, I ponder if that chamber awaits another visitor, its mysteries realigning like the mirrored reflections, poised to unveil a new narrative to the next soul to venture beyond the tattered tapestry. Story 4. Amid a solitary stroll through a forgotten corner of the city, a distant, merry laughter caught my attention, reverberating through empty streets. The warmth of the sound contrasted with the silence, carried by a breeze heavy with the scent of rain-kissed pavement and a hint of lilacs. Intrigued yet apprehensive, I trailed the laughter, each step fueling my curiosity about its enigmatic origins. The evening air enveloped me like silk, its cool caress soothing against my skin. Shadows stretched as the sun descended, casting a soft amber glow over the weathered buildings. The laughter persisted, teasing my senses, now seeming ahead, now behind, playing a gentle game of hide and seek. Wandering through narrow alleys where ancient gas lamps flickered to life, their glow casting golden pools on the worn cobblestones, I delved deeper into this labyrinth of antiquity, where modernity faded like a distant memory. The structures drew nearer, their upper floors almost touching, framing only a sliver of dusky sky above. Moisture hung heavy in the air, the scent of impending rain mingling with evening jasmine wafting from hidden gardens. The laughter shifted subtly, still joyous, but now tinged with hints of the past, evoking forgotten memories and dust-covered photographs. Turning another corner, I found myself in a small square bordered by buildings leaning in conspiratorially, as if sharing secrets. At its center stood an ancient fountain, its stones smoothed by centuries of flowing water. The trickle of water intertwined with the distant laughter, weaving a haunting melody that seemed to resonate with the stones beneath me. Drawn to the fountain, I marveled at the way the fading light danced on its surface. The water lay eerily still, reflecting the deepening twilight sky like a mirror. Yet, upon closer inspection, I noticed a peculiarity. The reflection revealed more than just the sky. Within its depths, lights flickered in windows absent in the surrounding buildings, shadows of figures moving behind those illuminated panes. The laughter now clearer, emanating from these phantom reflections. Children in vintage attire frolicked in a courtyard existing only in the fountain's reflection, their gleeful sounds echoing through time. Adults in attire of a bygone era watched with serene smiles, both present and impossibly distant. Enthralled, I observed this spectral spectacle unfolding in the fountain's surface. Rain began to fall, its gentle cadence creating ripples that distorted yet preserved the images. Each ripple unveiled a different moment in time. Celebrations of yore, quiet evening gatherings, children aging while their parents remained frozen in eternal youth in these aqueous reminiscences. The fragrance of rain mingled with phantom scents from the reflection, freshly baked bread, summer blooms, and the elusive aroma of happiness ensconced in memory. The laughter, now understood, not traversing space but time itself, carrying the joy of countless moments lived in this place through the ages to my ears. As night descended, the images in the fountain waned, like aged photographs losing their clarity. The laughter softened, receding into the background, merging with the rain's patter. I lingered, allowing the gentle precipitation to seep into my clothes, feeling a connection to the joy-filled memories that once inhabited this space. When I eventually turned to depart, a subtle transformation had settled within me. The weight of those preserved moments lingered, not as a burden, but as a tender reminder of the layers of life and mirth woven into every corner. The rain continued its quiet descent, and amidst its patter, faint echoes of that enigmatic laughter still lingered, as if the very stones of the city had absorbed the jubilation of generations, whispering it back to those who paused to listen. The source of the laughter remained elusive, yet it became clear that perhaps unraveling its mystery was never the intent. Some enigmas are meant to be experienced, carried with us, like the echo of distant laughter on a rainy eve, a reminder that joy leaves indelible traces rippling through time, touching those who follow in ways beyond full comprehension. Story 5. On a brisk evening, as I wandered past a deserted factory, my eyes caught sight of tiny flickering lights waltzing along its fractured walls. The structure, shrouded in darkness, suddenly stirred to life with an enigmatic radiance. An aroma of rust and forgotten machinery wafted through the air, mingling with that peculiar illumination that lured me closer, compelling me to unravel the enigma behind the ghostly lights. Intrigued, I felt an irresistible pull towards the weathered edifice, my steps hushed by the gravel and fallen leaves underfoot. A gentle autumn breeze whispered through the air, carrying the fragrance of damp earth and aged brick. Approaching, the lights seemed to pulse in a rhythmic cadence, akin to a steady breath, inhaling and exhaling with a slow, hypnotic beat that synchronized with the throb of my own heart. The exterior walls of the factory loomed before me, their worn surfaces bearing the marks of decades gone by. Layers of history were unveiled as patches of ancient paint peeled away like scrolls of time. The windows, veiled in dust and age, reflected the mysterious lights, creating an illusion of them floating both inside and outside the structure simultaneously. My hand grazed the cool metal of a side door, which surprisingly yielded with a soft creak of its hinges. The sound reverberated through the empty expanse within, a gentle reminder of the vastness awaiting within those walls. The atmosphere inside felt distinct, not musty as expected, but charged with an electric vitality that caused the hairs on my arms to stand on end. Progressing further into the building, I observed how the phantom lights seemed to illuminate my path, drifting just ahead and casting soft shadows that danced across abandoned machinery. The silent sentinels of equipment stood like abstract sculptures in the darkness. Somewhere in the distance, water dripped, creating a soothing rhythm that accompanied my exploration. Guided by the lights, I ascended a metal staircase, each step releasing a faint metallic melody beneath my feet. As I climbed, a subtle vibration in the air, almost imperceptible yet undeniably present, resonated around me. It evoked the hum of distant power lines, yet possessed a more musical, deliberate quality. On the second floor, I entered a vast open space where moonlight filtered through shattered skylights, mingling with the warm glow of the phantom lights. Dust motes swirled in the beams, forming intricate patterns that seemed purposeful. Strewn across the floor were old paper edges curled with age, adorned with faded technical drawings and handwritten notes. Bending to scrutinize one, the lights converged around me, their glow intensifying slightly. In that moment, I realized they were not random phenomena. They moved with intent, with intelligence. They weaved patterns reminiscent of constellations, then shifted into shapes resembling letters of an unreadable alphabet. The room's temperature subtly fluctuated, creating pockets of warmth that floated past like unseen currents. The lights responded to these changes, transitioning from warm amber to cool blue hues and back again. I swayed slightly, captivated by their dance, as though they were orchestrating a silent symphony solely for me. In a far corner, the lights gathered around an ancient control panel, adorned with silent switches and dials. Watching, They seemed to recreate the patterns of activity that once animated this place. They flowed through the air in rhythmic motions, like ghostly echoes of the workers who once toiled here. Time seemed to dissolve as I stood there, witnessing this ethereal spectacle. The ambient sounds of the building, the distant dripping water, the whisper of wind through shattered windows, the faint creaking of settling metal, melded into a soothing lullaby. The lights continued their ballet, each movement narrating a story I could sense, but not entirely grasp. As the night deepened, the lights began to dim, not abruptly, but with the same gradual patience with which they appeared. Drifting upward towards the skylights, their glow faded until they were mere whispers against the pre-dawn sky. Their final display resembled a farewell gesture, leaving me with a profound feeling of witnessing something exquisitely beautiful yet inexplicable. Retracing my steps through the building, I was guided by the burgeoning light of dawn. In these early morning hours, the factory felt transformed, tranquil rather than forsaken, as though the phantom lights had infused the space with their essence. Even now, I occasionally pass by the old factory at night, yearning to witness those mysterious lights once more. Though they have yet to reappear, the air always carries that same electric charge, that same promise of potential, as if the lights are awaiting the perfect moment to return and resume their tale. Story 6. The day had been long, filled with the ebb and flow of life's demands, leaving me weary as dusk settled over the house. Glancing into the hallway mirror, I expected to see my own reflection staring back at me. Instead, a silhouette loomed in the fading light, a mysterious figure that seemed to belong to a realm beyond my own. The room enveloped me in a comforting embrace, a blend of familiar scents, the lingering essence of a home-cooked meal intermingled with an unidentifiable fragrance, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia and intrigue. As I stood there, captivated by the gentle dance of curtains swaying in the evening breeze, a sense of tranquility washed over me. The shadows cast by the fabric painted intricate patterns on the wooden floor, each movement a whispered secret shared only with the night. The mirror, an heirloom passed down through generations, held a silent allure, its weathered bronze frame a vessel for memories etched into its intricate design. The silhouette remained unmoving, a dark presence against the soft amber glow filtering through the windows. It was not menacing, but rather familiar, like a long-forgotten memory stirring in the depths of my subconscious. The human shape bore blurred edges, existing in a liminal space between reality and illusion, beckoning me to peer beyond the surface of what I knew. Recollections of my grandmother's tales resurfaced, her whispers of mirrors as gateways to other worlds, resonating in the quiet of the evening. Once dismissed as mere folklore, those stories now wove a thread of curiosity through my mind, tugging at the corners of my reality. The house settled around me, its aged timbers creaking in harmony with the encroaching night, a symphony of old and new merging in the twilight. The scent of herbs and nostalgia lingered in the air, mingling with the essence of antiquity that clung to our home like a cherished memory. In the mirror, the enigmatic figure breathed in tandem with the house, a synchrony of existence that transcended the boundaries of time and space. Drawn inexplicably closer, I moved towards the silhouette, the temperature dropping subtly with each step, a gentle chill raising goosebumps on my skin. As I approached, the figure's form shifted imperceptibly, revealing a resemblance to my mother's silhouette, a poignant echo of a past long gone. Though logic dictated otherwise, a sense of recognition washed over me, a bittersweet connection to a love that transcended the veil of mortality. Time flowed languidly in the hallway, each moment stretched thin like molasses, sweetened with the honeyed memories of yesteryears. The ambient sounds of evening faded into a soft murmur, leaving only the rhythmic cadence of my breath entwined with another, a phantom echo of companionship in the quiet. With the descent of the sun, Elongating shadows draped the walls, transforming the figure in the mirror. Gradually, its edges softened, and within the darkness, pinpricks of light flickered to life, a celestial ballet unfolding before my eyes. The twinkling lights, reminiscent of fireflies on a summer's eve, danced within the silhouette, a cosmic display of ethereal beauty. I reached out tentatively, expecting a mirrored response, but the figure remained motionless, a silent sentinel in the shifting twilight. The air thickened with the scent of jasmine, my mother's favorite bloom, a fragrance both familiar and foreign in the confines of our home. A gentle touch brushed my cheek, a fleeting caress that might have been a trick of the imagination or a tender whisper from the beyond. The jasmine perfume enveloped me briefly, a final embrace before dissipating into the night. With the darkness complete, I flicked on the light, revealing only my reflection in the mirror, a solitary figure bathed in the soft glow of the hallway. Something had changed, a subtle shift in the fabric of reality, imperceptible yet profound. The mirror held a faint radiance, a shimmering veil draped over the frame, casting my reflection in a dreamlike haze. I kept the encounter to myself, a silent observer of the mirror's secrets, awaiting the twilight hours with an eager anticipation. At dusk, when the world hung in the balance between day and night, the silhouette would return, a fleeting visitor from a realm unknown. Each encounter blurred the line between memory and magic, a delicate dance of past and present converging in a timeless waltz. The mirror stood as a silent witness to these twilight rendezvous, a keeper of mysteries that whispered of forgotten tales and unspoken truths. In that sacred space between light and shadow, I found solace, a sanctuary where the ordinary transcended into the extraordinary. And so I stood before the mirror, a silent sentinel in the evening's embrace, knowing that in that fleeting moment of twilight, anything was possible. Story 7. Amidst the wild hedges, a forgotten cemetery lay hidden, waiting to reveal its secrets. The old iron gate, aged and weary, yielded to the gentlest touch, protesting with a mournful creak. The air hung heavy with the fragrance of damp earth and decaying leaves, while the rusty hinges groaned, as if guarding the mysteries that lay beyond. Stepping through, a wave of memories long forgotten brushed against my skin, whispering stories buried beneath the weathered stones. A soft mist enveloped the ground, caressing the ancient headstones like ethereal fingers. My footsteps, muffled by the damp earth, echoed in harmony with the distant whispers of the wind through skeletal branches. Each breath I drew filled my lungs with the cool, mineral-laden air unique to centuries-old graveyards. Lost in the tranquility of the moment, I ventured deeper into the heart of the cemetery. An oddity caught my eye amidst the moss-covered headstones. A subtle pattern emerged in their alignment. Some tilted left, others right, weaving a mysterious path through the burial grounds. Was it nature's handiwork or a deliberate design lost to time? The shifting light cast long shadows, painting the uneven terrain with a brush of darkness. Amidst the silent stones, patches of wildflowers swayed gently, their vibrant hues capturing the fading daylight. Nature had claimed this sacred space, vines embracing stone markers, and wild roses reclaiming forgotten iron railings. A soft rustle drew me towards a weathered marble angel, its features softened by the passage of years. Caught on its outstretched wing was a faded ribbon, a deep burgundy hue defiant against its age. When my fingers grazed the fabric, an unexpected warmth enveloped me, as though the ribbon held a secret flame within. With each step, the atmosphere shifted subtly. The air grew denser, carrying the sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine, unseen but ever present. Time seemed suspended in the tranquil air, neither warm nor cold, as I journeyed further away from the world I knew. In the heart of the cemetery, a clearing revealed itself, encircled by 7 identical headstones bearing a name lost to the ages. A sundial, its bronze surface weathered to a verdigris patina, stood at the center, casting shadows that defied the passage of time. As dusk approached, a mist rose from the earth, swirling in ephemeral shapes that danced among the graves. Human-like forms flickered at the edge of perception, dissolving into the mist when I tried to focus on them. The distant creak of the gate echoed through the stillness, a haunting melody blending with the soft hum that filled the air. Unseen words intertwined with the tune, a lullaby of remembrance and eternal peace. Retracing my steps, I found the earth blank. My footprints vanished as if swallowed by the night. The ribbon on the angel had disappeared, leaving behind a sense of unfinished whispers in the air. Passing through the gate once more, its ancient iron now warm to the touch, I felt a profound calm settle over me. With a gentle sigh, the gate closed behind me, sealing the cemetery's secrets within. Glancing back, I beheld a transformation unfolding in the twilight. The headstones glimmered with a soft, ethereal light, forming an intricate spiral pattern visible only from this vantage point. The mysteries of the cemetery remained a dream, a memory that lingers in the quiet of the night. Sometimes as I drift into slumber, the gate beckons me with silent invitation, a reminder of a realm where worlds intertwine. In the stillness of the night, a haunting lullaby echoes through my mind, carrying the scent of ancient stones and moist earth. The cemetery's mysteries remain a dream, a fragment of time where reality and enchantment entwine in the shadows of forgotten graves. Story 8. On a tranquil starlit night, I ascended the rusty fire escape of an ancient apartment complex and stumbled upon a collection of mesmerizing graffiti artworks adorning the rooftop. These murals, painted in vibrant hues and intricate patterns, seemed to narrate a tale of deep emotions, illuminated by the gentle glow of the cityscape below. The crisp night breeze, scented with the essence of urban rain and concrete, enveloped me in a sense of enchantment, as if I were beholding the creations of an enigmatic, unseen artist. Night after night, I found myself irresistibly drawn back to that secluded rooftop haven. With each visit, fresh nuances in the artwork would reveal themselves, intricate details that had eluded my previous scrutiny. Delicate swirls of midnight blue intertwined with silvery strokes, forming patterns that appeared to dance and transform in the moon's soft light. The faint murmur of the wind, weaving through the surrounding structures, provided a serene accompaniment to my silent observations. I began meticulously chronicling the evolution of the murals, for they never remained static. Sometimes a new blossom would unfurl in a secluded corner, its petals adorned in rich purples and ethereal whites. On other occasions, I would discern mathematical equations subtly integrated into the backdrop, their numbers and symbols flowing gracefully like verses across the concrete canvas. Curiously, the building's other occupants never acknowledged the presence of these captivating artworks. When I inquired of the elderly lady residing on the top floor, she merely offered a cryptic smile and expressed her preference for the elevator. The maintenance worker, when questioned, nonchalantly mentioned restricted access to the rooftop. Yet there I stood, night after night, an unseen witness to the ever-evolving artistry. One evening, I brought along my sketchbook and settled into my customary spot, intent on capturing the intricate details before me. That night, the air carried a peculiar weight, laden with promise and anticipation. As I sketched, I noticed faint handprints materializing in the condensation on the rooftop's glass skylight, appearing slowly as if pressed from beneath, only to vanish like morning dew. In a gesture of gratitude and curiosity, I began leaving small offerings for the mysterious artist. Fresh paint tubes, pristine brushes, even a thermos of hot tea on chilly evenings. By daybreak, these tokens would invariably disappear, replaced by subtle alterations to the murals. A new avian figure might be perched precisely where I had left my gifts, or a delicate rendition of the tea's steam would be seamlessly incorporated into the existing design. The transformations took on a more intimate tone. Elements of my own life started to materialize within the artwork, my cherished book depicted on a painted shelf, the pattern of my scarf intricately woven into a border, the exact hue of my eyes mirrored in a painted pool of water. It dawned on me that the artist was observing me, as I, in turn, observed their creations. With the arrival of winter, bringing shorter days and lengthier nights, the rooftop evolved into a sanctuary where time seemed to flow differently. Some nights I would arrive to find the paint still fresh, glistening under the starry canopy, yet the artist remained a phantom, unseen and unheard. The newly applied paint bore no footprints, leaving no trace of its creator's presence. During a tranquil snowfall, I stumbled upon a novel addition to the mural, a portrait, not of a person, but of a moment. My initial night on the rooftop, portrayed from behind, showcasing a figure gazing at the inaugural artwork. The attention to detail was astounding, capturing even the way my hair had fluttered in the breeze that evening. However, in the painting, I was not alone. A shadowy figure stood beside me, their hand outstretched toward the wall, holding a brush that dripped with starlight. Compelled by a mysterious force, I reached out to touch the painted rendition of myself, and my fingertips came away dusted with a fine, shimmering powder that defied conventional explanation. It sparkled like crushed diamonds, and as I watched, it appeared to meld into my skin, leaving behind a subtle luminosity that harmonized with the murals. The following morning, an inexplicable urge to create seized hold of me. Without hesitation, I grasped a brush that had materialized by my side and commenced painting. The colors flowed effortlessly, akin to water, to memory, to dreams. I toiled until the break of dawn, and upon stepping back, I beheld with astonishment that my style was indistinguishable from that of the enigmatic artist. At last, I comprehended why the building's inhabitants maintained a steadfast silence regarding the rooftop artist. Certain enigmas are best experienced rather than rationalized. Some nights I still ascend to that elevated realm, though I often find myself unable to discern whether my purpose is to create or to observe. The boundaries between artist and spectator have blurred, akin to wet paint merging with wet paint, giving rise to something entirely novel. The murals persist in their perpetual transformation, concealing our shared secret within layers of color and luminescence. On tranquil evenings, when the celestial bodies align in perfect harmony, one might chance upon two shadows collaborating on that rooftop, one casting a gentle radiance, the other wielding a brush that drips with starlight. Yet upon closer inspection, it becomes apparent that both shadows belong to the same individual, neither wholly substantial enough to be deemed real. Story 9. As I ventured into the depths of an abandoned library, a forgotten section beckoned me with its hidden alcove. Within this secluded space, relics and faded photographs whispered of bygone days. A soft mist enveloped the room, mingling with the fragrance of aged paper and cedar wood, creating an atmosphere of quiet intrigue. Among the relics, a portrait veiled in mystery captured my attention. A woman in Victorian attire, her features weathered by time, yet her gaze sharp and unwavering. Her eyes seemed to track my every movement, drawing me further into the shadows of the library's neglected chambers. Beneath my feet, the floorboards murmured secrets of the past, releasing delicate plumes of dust that danced in the faint light filtering through dusty windows. My path led me to a weathered desk, adorned with rings from long-vanished teacups, its surface polished by the touch of countless hands. As I traced my fingers along the desk's worn edges, a leather-bound journal hidden in a drawer caught my eye. Its cover cracked but whole. As I opened it, a scent of lavender and ink unfurled like a forgotten memory. The elegant yet faded handwriting within narrated tales of the late 1800s, each word a whisper from a distant era. With each page turned, the room's ambiance shifted subtly, the air growing cooler, the light taking on a golden hue, reminiscent of a sunlit afternoon. The journal belonged to Elizabeth Blackwood, the keeper of the library, her words recounting enigmatic occurrences that blurred the lines between reality and the ethereal. Elizabeth spoke of books that wandered in the night, whispered conversations lingering in empty spaces, and a collection of volumes rumored to house memories instead of mere words. These books, she claimed, held the power to unveil glimpses of days long past when bathed in a specific light. Lost in Elizabeth's narrative, I became attuned to the quiet transformations around me. Dust motes danced purposefully in the air, swirling in intricate patterns resembling waltzing silhouettes. Echoes of pages turning drifted through the library, a ghostly choir of stories waiting to be heard. A gentle breeze carried strains of piano music, its melody weaving through the walls like a thread of forgotten dreams. Elizabeth's portrait seemed to shift, her features clearer, as if time itself had momentarily reversed its relentless march. Delving deeper into the journal, I learned of Elizabeth's revelation, that the library existed in a state of temporal flux, where past and present intertwined in a delicate dance. Shadows cast by bookshelves stirred, taking on a life of their own, revealing spectral figures moving through the aisles in antiquated attire. Elizabeth's theory unfolded before me, a tapestry of emotions and memories woven into the fabric of the library itself. She believed that the building harbored echoes of bygone eras, accessible to those attuned to its silent whispers. With trembling hands, I reached the final pages of Elizabeth's journal, her urgent words hinting at a merging of her essence with the library's enigmatic history. Reflections in windows bore witness to her traversing through time, speaking words yet unspoken, a ghostly echo of her existence. As I closed the journal, my own reflection in the polished desk seemed altered, touched by the library's lingering presence. A sense of belonging, of becoming a part of the tapestry of memories, enveloped me like a comforting shroud. Returning the journal to its resting place, I caught a glimpse of my reflection once more, subtly transformed by the library's embrace. The realization that the building held a piece of every visitor brought solace, a reminder of the enduring connection between place and memory. Before departing, I cast a final glance at Elizabeth's portrait, now bathed in twilight's gentle glow. Her smile, knowing and serene, seemed to whisper of a shared secret between us, a bond forged through the veil of time. In the quiet stillness of the library, where untold stories lingered like whispered promises, I left behind traces of my presence, intertwined with Elizabeth's legacy. And as I stepped out into the world beyond, the memory of that mysterious alcove remained etched in my mind, a dream woven from the threads of forgotten tales. Story 10. As I strolled through an ancient alley, a nearly invisible mural caught my eye, a white chalk masterpiece etched onto a weathered brick wall. Drawing nearer, the faint outline unveiled a face with a cryptic, all-knowing grin. The atmosphere exuded tranquility, carrying hints of smoke and damp stone, while that enigmatic smile seemed to harbor a tale of forsaken desires and concealed truths never destined to surface. Each dawn following that initial encounter, a magnetic pull drew me back to that narrow passage. The aged bricks harbored untold narratives within their crevices, and the smile appeared to subtly shift with each return. At times it bore a somber air, while on other occasions it exuded wisdom, as if confiding in observant wanderers who dared to pause. The soft echoes of my footsteps resonated against the time-worn walls, mingling with the gentle rustle of autumn leaves skimming over worn cobblestones. In those serene moments before sunrise, when the world held its breath between darkness and light, I stood before the enigmatic smile, allowing my fingertips to trace the rough texture of the bricks, sensing the faint grooves where the chalk had settled. One mist-laden morning of particular intrigue, a peculiar discovery captured my attention. Beneath the smile, barely discernible in the dim light, faint inscriptions materialized. The letters possessed a delicate elegance, akin to whispers frozen in time, appearing and vanishing with the shifting mist. Leaning in, my breath swirled amidst the mist, revealing an elegant script dancing across the brick surface. Though most of the writing had faded beyond recognition, a few words remained legible, beneath the seventh stone. My heart quickened, not with fear, but with the quiet thrill of unearthing a long-forgotten secret. I commenced counting the bricks beneath the smile, my fingers gliding over each one. The seventh brick felt subtly distinct, not overtly, but with a slight give that set it apart from the rest. The mortar surrounding it seemed fresher, yet weathered enough to blend seamlessly with its surroundings, escaping notice save for the most discerning eye. Over the ensuing weeks, I revisited the wall at various hours, observing how the evolving light transformed the enigmatic smile. During the golden hues of sunset, the chalk appeared to emanate an inner radiance. Even in rainfall, as water trickled down the wall, the smile persisted, softening but never completely fading away. I began carrying my sketchbook, attempting to capture the myriad moods of the enigmatic smile. Yet each rendering felt incomplete, as if some essential essence of the image eluded my grasp. Other passers-by traversed the alley, yet few seemed to acknowledge the smile's presence. Those who did paused momentarily, their expressions subtly shifting before continuing on their way. One twilight, as the last rays of sunlight painted the sky in muted purples and blues, an elderly woman caught my eye as she stood before the wall. Clad in a gray woolen coat and grasping a wooden cane, her expression bore a blend of recognition and tender sorrow. Though she ignored my presence, she spoke softly, addressing either herself or the smile. "You always were too clever for your own good," she murmured, extending a trembling hand to touch the wall. Upon her departure, I noted she had left a small object on the ledge beneath the seventh brick, a tarnished brass key, intricately designed and of an antiquated fashion. The key exuded a warmth in my palm, as though it had absorbed not only the day's heat, but something more profound, memories perhaps, or secrets. It bore no resemblance to any lock I had encountered, boasting peculiar tooth patterns and delicate engravings along its length. I found myself carrying it with me, tracing my fingers over its surface during moments of solitude. Weeks elapsed, and the enigmatic smile only grew more defined, rather than fading into obscurity. Fresh details emerged, a subtle curve at the corner of the mouth, hinting at amusement, a faint suggestion of a dimple under certain lighting. The wall evolved into my sanctuary, a realm where time flowed differently and the ordinary world felt distant. Then came the morning of transformation, though enacted in the most gentle manner imaginable. Arriving at daybreak, I encountered a group of laborers commencing the restoration of the ancient alley. They conversed in hushed tones, honoring the early hour as they readied to clean and refurbish the brick walls. A pang of sorrow pricked my heart at the notion of the smile's erasure. However, as I approached for a final gaze, a remarkable sight unfolded before me. Where the chalk smile once resided, a natural formation in the brick itself now emerged. Curves and shadows that crafted the same knowing countenance I had come to recognize so intimately. The workers meticulously cleaned around it, intuitively grasping its significance without utterance. The brass key nestled in my pocket radiated warmth, and in that moment I comprehended that certain enigmas are destined to remain just that, enigmas. Presently, I continue to frequent the alley, albeit with less frequency. The smile lingers, more subdued yet unmistakably present, transmuted from chalk into something enduring. Occasionally, in the right light or amid profound silence, I catch a glimpse of those faded words beneath it, or sense the key's warmth against my skin, prompting a reciprocal smile directed at the wall, partaking in its clandestine communion. The seventh brick remains slightly ajar, its enigma unexplored. Perhaps it is for the best. Some portals are meant to remain shut, safeguarding their tales for future dreamers who may chance upon them. Casting their gaze upward, and pondering the enigmatic smile gracing the brick wall. Story 11. On a misty evening, as I secured the locks on my apartment, a door caught my eye, hidden behind an ancient bookshelf. Its surface exuded a cold, unyielding energy, accompanied by a faint, enigmatic hum that seemed to beckon from within. Tentatively, I extended my hand towards it, and the air filled with the musty fragrance of forgotten tales, drawing me in with an irresistible force. Raindrops whispered against my windows, creating a soothing melody as I stood there, mesmerized by this peculiar find. The door itself was a work of art, crafted from aged wood etched with intricate patterns that seemed to dance and transform under shifting light. My fingers traced the elaborate designs, deciphering a narrative written in an unfamiliar script. The soft glow of my reading lamp cast enchanting shadows, blurring the boundaries of time and reality. I swayed gently, captivated by the play of light and darkness. The usual sounds of my home, the subtle hum of the heater, the faint tick-tock of my grandmother's clock, faded into a tranquil murmur. Examining the door closely, I noticed its lack of handle, hinges, or any visible means of opening. Yet a gentle warmth radiated from it, like a lingering touch of summer sun on stone. The carved motifs morphed in my mind's eye, a spiral reminiscent of ocean waves, curves mirroring bird flights. The scent surrounding the door evolved with the deepening night, shifting from musty to earthy, rain-soaked soil and night-blooming flowers. Each breath revealed new fragrances, vanilla, old books, and a hint of starlight. Nestled in my favorite armchair near the mysterious door, wrapped in a cozy blanket, I watched moonbeams paint silver patterns on its wooden surface. The earlier hum now hummed a melody, felt more than heard, like a childhood lullaby echoing in memory. Time slipped away in peaceful contemplation. The patterns seemed to ripple and shift, the door occasionally becoming translucent before regaining solidity. No fear, only wonder and tranquility filled me. With the approaching dawn, hints of grass, silver sand, and even starlit voids flickered beneath the door, instead of the familiar wooden floor. In the soft morning light, a thought crossed my mind. Should I attempt to open this impossible door? But an inner knowing told me that wasn't the purpose. Its mere presence had transformed my space, blurring the line between ordinary and extraordinary. Some sleepless nights, I sit near the door, listening to its gentle hum. It remains closed, its secrets intact, yet it serves as a reminder that magic exists in the everyday if we only pay attention. The shifting patterns and soft sounds behind it evolve with the moon's phases, offering a sense of comfort and mystery. I found solace in its enigmatic presence, embracing the peace it brings. Perhaps the true destination of this door to nowhere isn't a physical place, but a state of mind where wonder and serenity intertwine harmoniously. It has led me to a deeper appreciation for the unknown, teaching me that some mysteries are more beautiful left unsolved. Story 12. In the midst of an ordinary day at the old public library, a hidden world awaited me. Behind a veil of dusty books, a narrow passage beckoned, illuminated by a mysterious light from an unknown source. The air was thick with the scent of history and enigma, drawing me further into the corridor with each cautious step. The aged wooden floor whispered beneath my feet, as if in harmony with the ancient pulse of the building. Gradually, the familiar sounds of the library faded into a profound silence, a serene melody of stillness that enveloped me like a lullaby. The wallpaper lining the walls shifted subtly, teasing my peripheral vision with elusive patterns that defied direct focus. Tracing my fingers along the cool surface, I felt faint irregularities hinting at hidden text or symbols shrouded in the dim glow. The passage curved gently, leading me deeper into its embrace as the temperature dropped, sending a shiver down my spine. The soft, pearlescent light seemed to emanate from the very essence of the air, casting a dreamlike aura over everything it touched. Alcoves appeared like whispers in the walls, each cradling a singular object, a key without a lock, a blank journal, a backward-ticking pocket watch, a mirror reflecting only shadows. These artifacts wove a tale just beyond my grasp, like a forgotten memory yearning to be remembered. Anticipation hung heavy in the air, carrying the fragrance of rain and distant echoes. A cozy reading nook materialized, inviting me to rest in a carved wooden chair beside a table bearing a cup of tea, its steam swirling in silent poetry. The warm liquid danced in ripples, defying the stillness of the room. As I sat, a book on the shelf caught my eye, its spine adorned with a shifting symbol that defied my gaze. Opening the book revealed handwritten notes in a familiar script, detailing events foreign to my recollection. The ink glistened in the ethereal light, blurring the lines between reality and the unknown. Time slipped through my fingers like honey, each moment a delicate eternity as I delved into the surreal narrative. The soft murmur of turning pages filled the air, accompanied by a distant piano melody, its haunting notes weaving a tapestry of forgotten echoes. Accounts of other visitors intertwined with my own, spanning epochs and futures in a symphony of shared experiences. Handwritings melded, a chorus of selves echoing through the passage of time. The space around me pulsed with a subtle rhythm, expanding and contracting in silent breaths. Specks of light danced like fireflies, whispering fragments of conversations that teased comprehension. Lost in the timeless dance of words and shadows, I journeyed deeper into the labyrinth of memory and illusion. Emerging from the book's embrace, I beheld a circular room with 7 doors, each reflecting a different facet of myself across time and dreams. Memories not my own mingled in the warm tea, blurring the borders of reality and imagination in a gentle wash of colors. The library's narrative encompassed me, a chapter in its endless saga. As I prepared to depart, my reflection lingered in the mirror, absorbed in the unseen pages of a story yet untold. Embracing the mysteries that surrounded me, I left the hidden passage behind, forever changed by its whispered secrets. The library's quiet hum resumed, but now I carried within me the knowledge of countless tales waiting to be heard. In the stillness of night, echoes of that otherworldly light and strange memories lingered, a reminder of the boundless stories that dwell just beyond reach. Ink stained my fingers, a silent testament to the narratives woven between reality and dreams. And in the quiet hours, the sound of turning pages echoed through my mind, a reminder that somewhere, in that hidden passage, another version of me sought solace in the timeless embrace of stories untold. Story 13. In the depths of my attic, amidst the forgotten treasures of time, I chanced upon a weathered photograph nestled within an aged album. The image captured a moment from bygone years, its essence seeming to subtly shift as my eyes lingered upon it. A faint fragrance of antique roses and aged parchment wafted through the air, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia that beckoned me closer. Were the figures in the picture whispering to me, urging me to unravel a tale lost to the ages? As the late afternoon sun filtered through the dusty window, bathing the attic in a golden hue, I settled into a weathered rocking chair. Its gentle creaks formed a lullaby of the past, cradling me in a rhythm of tranquility. Tracing the frayed edges of the photograph with my fingertips, I felt the echoes of time etched into its surface, each imperfection a story untold. The scene depicted a garden gathering, a relic of elegance and grace. Women adorned in flowing gowns and gentlemen in their finest stood frozen in a moment of joy, their smiles holding enigmatic truths. In the backdrop loomed a grand Victorian estate, its windows reflecting the fading light of a distant evening. Yet one figure stood apart, a woman in a pearl-white dress, her gaze fixed upon the camera with a gaze veiled in mystery. As I studied her, a chill danced through the attic, mingling with the scent of roses that now enveloped me. Closing my eyes, I surrendered to the stillness of the space. Upon reopening my eyes, a subtle shift had occurred. The light within the photograph pulsed with a newfound warmth, casting a soft glow upon the woman in white. Her posture had altered, a delicate hand reaching towards an unseen horizon. Drawn into the image's embrace, the world around me began to transform. The rocking chair's creaks melded with distant melodies, the scent of roses intertwining with notes of Earl Grey tea and freshly baked pastries. Past and present intertwined as the photograph breathed with life. The figures gained depth, their forms blooming like watercolors on a canvas. The woman in white emerged as the focal point, a pendant around her neck catching the light in ethereal patterns. The temperature dropped, prompting me to pull my sweater tighter. Shadows lengthened, yet the photograph retained its radiant aura, revealing intricate details. A teacup teetering on a table, a butterfly suspended in flight. Lost in this timeless moment, the woman's eyes met mine across the chasm of years, bearing a message unspoken. Her pendant sparkled, mirroring one I had unearthed in my grandmother's jewelry box. A connection whispered through the silence, linking past and present in a delicate dance. As twilight descended, the attic dimmed, but the photograph's glow endured. The woman's outstretched hand now pointed towards a small door in the background, a portal to untold secrets. The ghostly waltz I had heard grew clearer, beckoning the guests of the garden party to sway in eternal harmony. The woman in white, akin to my grandmother in her youth, held a secret within her timeless smile. Memories flooded my mind, tales of garden revelries, of music and enigmas lost to time. Nightfall outside the window signaled the photograph's return to stillness, the music fading into the whispers of roses and musty air. With reverence, I placed the photograph back into its album, knowing our paths would cross again. Descending the attic stairs, my grandmother's pendant rested against my heart, its weight a comforting reminder of interconnected destinies. In the quiet of the evening, the distant waltz lingered, a reminder of time's enigmatic embrace. Some mysteries, I realized, are best left untangled, drifting between realms of memory and reality. The woman in white had shared her secret, a fleeting glimpse into the tapestry of time. Perhaps some stories are meant to flicker to life when we are ready to see them, then fade into the soft embrace of twilight, forever etched in the gentle mysteries of the heart. Story 14. As I wandered through a remote forest path, my steps guided by the soft glow of the full moon above, a hidden secret awaited me. Nestled beneath a canopy of tangled vines, an ancient stone well emerged from the shadows, its presence both captivating and mysterious. The air around me held a damp coolness, infused with the earthy aroma of moss and decay, adding to the enchantment of the scene. The well exuded a pulsating light, casting an ethereal glow that danced across the lush undergrowth, beckoning me closer with a silent invitation. Each step I took was cushioned by a carpet of fallen leaves, muffling the sound of my approach as if nature itself wished to keep this encounter a secret. Intricate carvings adorned the weathered stones of the well, telling stories of time long past, etched by the hands of forgotten craftsmen and smoothed by the caress of wind and rain. The light emanating from within seemed to synchronize with my own breath, creating a rhythm that pulsed in harmony with the beating of my heart. The once lively forest had fallen into a hushed stillness, as if holding its breath in anticipation of my next move. Even the ever-present chirping of crickets had faded into silence, leaving only the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind to accompany me on my journey. Drawn by an inexplicable force, I traced the ancient carvings with trembling fingers, feeling a faint hum reverberate through the stone, a melody of the ages too delicate for mortal ears. The cool touch of the well's surface hinted at a hidden power, a metallic sheen that defied the ordinary nature of the granite. As my fingertips danced along the patterns, the light from within cast intricate shadows on my hands, like whispers of a forgotten language spoken by the earth itself. It was a light unlike any I had seen before, reminiscent of sunlight filtered through water, its warmth a stark contrast to the chill of the night. Fueled by curiosity and a sense of wonder, I leaned closer to peer into the depths of the well, expecting darkness but finding instead a mesmerizing sight. A vast expanse unfolded before me, filled with swirling lights that danced like celestial bodies caught in a cosmic waltz. With each passing moment, new shapes and patterns emerged from the radiant display, teasing my senses with glimpses of familiarity that vanished as soon as I tried to grasp them. A soft hum resonated from the depths, a gentle lullaby that wrapped around me like a comforting shroud, lulling me into a trance-like state. Tendrils of light rose from the well, weaving a luminescent tapestry in the night air, carrying the essence of ancient whispers and the weight of untold secrets. The mist enveloped me in its cool embrace, a touch as light as a breeze, yet laden with the weight of centuries past. In that ethereal moment, the well revealed fragments of a bygone era, scenes of rituals and lives intertwined with the mystical glow that had drawn them together across time. Memories not my own flickered in the radiant display, painting a portrait of a world long forgotten yet ever present. As the light began to fade, a sense of tranquility washed over me, a profound peace that transcended words or understanding. Time itself seemed to ebb and flow with the pulsing rhythm of the well, blurring the boundaries between past, present, and future in a dance of fleeting moments. When I finally stepped back, the world around me had shifted subtly. The moon's position altered as if marking the passage of ages in a single night. The familiar sounds of the forest returned, the chirping of crickets, the rustling of leaves, yet the well remained, a silent sentinel bathed in a subtle glow that whispered of hidden wonders. Since that night, I have revisited the well in my dreams, drawn to its enigmatic presence like a moth to a flame. On clear nights, when the moon hangs full in the sky, I catch glimpses of that ethereal light shimmering through the trees, a reminder of a mystery just beyond my grasp. The questions that linger in my mind are not meant to be answered, but rather to be savored like the lingering notes of a forgotten melody, or the echo of a whispered secret carried on the wind. The well's glow remains a beacon of the unknown, a testament to the beauty of that which eludes our understanding, inviting us to embrace the mysteries that lie just beyond our reach. Story 15. In the early hours of the morning, a tranquil stroll led me to a grand, weathered oak tree nestled in the heart of the park. Its ancient presence captivated me, drawing me closer to its towering form. As the first light of dawn gently illuminated the surroundings, I noticed a peculiar sight. Intricate carvings adorning the oak's bark, emitting a soft, ethereal glow. The symbols etched into the tree's surface seemed to hold a hidden significance, their faded yet deliberate presence hinting at a tale of time long past. The air around me was heavy with the scent of earth and foliage, mingling with an enigmatic tension that seemed to hum in harmony with the rustling leaves above. With a sense of reverence, I reached out to touch the rough texture of the oak, my fingers trailing along the grooves of the carvings. The mist danced at my feet, weaving mystical patterns that mirrored the cryptic markings before me. The gentle symphony of nature enveloped me, as distant birds serenaded the unfolding scene. As I delved deeper into the enigmatic symbols, I noticed a mesmerizing transformation taking place. Letters from diverse alphabets intermingled, forming intricate patterns that hinted at ancient wisdom and celestial secrets. Amidst the cryptic carvings, I discerned a recurring spiral reminiscent of the golden ratio, and symbols evoking ancient star constellations. Time seemed to suspend its relentless march as I immersed myself in deciphering the oak's message. Each day brought new revelations. The play of shadows cast by the branches, the glistening dew that adorned the grooves like liquid silver. The tree became my sanctuary, a sacred space where reality blurred and dreams intertwined with waking thoughts. One mist-laden morning, a profound change awaited me at the oak tree. Fresh symbols had emerged overnight, weaving a narrative that transcended time itself. The air crackled with an electric energy, and the leaves whispered urgently, as if urging me to unravel the mysteries hidden within. Captivated by the ancient essence lingering in the air, I sketched the symbols in my notebook, attempting to capture their elusive essence. With each stroke of my pencil, a pattern emerged, a tapestry of voices spanning epochs, each marking a chapter in the oak's silent saga. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, I delved into research at the local library, unearthing similar symbols from distant lands and ages. Each discovery fueled my fascination, deepening the bond I shared with the venerable oak. In my dreams, the carvings spoke to me in a language beyond words, weaving tales of cycles and echoes from bygone eras. The oak tree revealed itself as a repository of memories, a silent guardian of stories etched in the language of time. Shadows of the past flitted across the carvings, evoking images of the hands that had shaped them, the souls that had left their mark on the ancient bark. Months drifted by, and I came to accept that the oak's enigma was not meant to be fully unraveled. The mystery itself was the message, a testament to the ineffable connection between the tangible and the unseen, the known and the unknowable. I pondered the origins of the carvings, the silent storytellers who had inscribed their truths on the oak's ancient skin. Yet, in the end, it was the profound sense of kinship I felt with those nameless souls that mattered most. Under the oak's expansive canopy, I now sit in quiet contemplation, penning my thoughts in a notebook beneath its boughs. Not as carvings, for I would never mar its venerable surface, but as written whispers that may one day blend seamlessly into the tree's timeless narrative. The oak tree stands as a sentinel of mystery and wonder, a living testament to humanity's eternal quest to transcend the boundaries of time. Its silent vigil continues, a gentle reminder that amidst the known and the unknown, the realm of dreams and reality, magic and truth intermingle in the spaces between. Story 16. In the heart of a mansion abandoned for decades, a profound silence enveloped me, a silence so vivid it seemed to pulse with life. As I stepped into the grand foyer, a gallery of dust-laden portraits and frayed draperies bore witness to the passage of time. The stillness whispered tales of days gone by, urging me to listen to its ancient secrets. With each creak of the decaying floorboards and every gentle breath of wind through shattered windows, the house revealed stories long forgotten, beckoning me to unravel their mysteries. The soft glow of the late afternoon sun filtered through worn curtains, casting elongated shadows that waltzed gracefully across the faded wallpaper. My footfalls echoed faintly as I ventured further into the mansion, accompanied by the soft descent of dust particles swirling in the air. The musty aroma of aged wood and faded memories filled my lungs with each inhale, while the distant rustling of branches against glass windows created a delicate rhythm in the tranquil atmosphere. My curiosity led me to a majestic staircase, its once gleaming banister now dulled by the passage of time. As I ascended, my fingers tracing the smooth wood, I noticed a peculiar phenomenon. The dust beneath my touch vanished, revealing pristine sections that gleamed as if freshly polished. Despite the chill that lingered in the air, the wood exuded a comforting warmth under my hand. The second floor unveiled a corridor flanked by closed doors, each exuding a distinct aura of anticipation, like the hush between heartbeats. I observed a subtle shift in temperature as I passed each doorway. Some areas radiated a gentle heat, while others cradled pockets of cool air that prompted me to draw my jacket tighter. One door stood slightly ajar, offering a glimpse of an old study bathed in the amber hues of twilight. Books lined the walls, their spines faded, but still hinting at the wisdom they held within. A massive wooden desk dominated the room, its surface veiled in a thin layer of dust save for a solitary clear spot, a perfect circle, as if an object had recently been moved. Approaching the desk, the floorboards sighed beneath my weight, and the chair behind it sat askew, as if its occupant had just departed moments ago. Within the dust-free circle on the desk, a faint impression of writing materialized, visible only when caught in the right light. Leaning in, I discerned the words, "We never truly leave." As the sun dipped below the horizon, shadows stretched across the study floor, and the room's ambience shifted subtly. Invisible currents stirred the air, though no windows were open, and books emitted soft settling noises, their pages rustling as if being perused by unseen hands. Seating myself in the desk chair, I ran my fingers along the polished wood, the room now enveloped in a gentle warmth, contrasting the cool dampness elsewhere in the mansion. A symphony of ambient sounds enveloped me, weaving a tapestry of whispers, creaks, and subtle movements that seemed to convey a language just beyond my comprehension. Time seemed to lose its grip in that room. Whether minutes or hours slipped by as I sat immersed in the atmosphere, the encroaching darkness outside the windows felt not foreboding but comforting, cocooning the study in a sense of intimacy. Dust motes twirling in the fading light formed intricate patterns that morphed into fleeting shapes of writing or faces, eluding my focus. With the night's arrival, an extraordinary occurrence captivated my gaze. The dust-free circle on the desk emitted a faint, pulsating luminescence, barely perceptible yet undeniably present. Each pulse of light caused a minute fluctuation in the room's temperature, and the words, "We never truly leave," seemed to shimmer in the darkness. Driven by an inexplicable impulse, I reached out and placed my hand within the glowing circle, a profound tranquility washing over me. The mansion's silence morphed into a melodic symphony of subtle sounds, each one carrying a story of those who had lingered in that very spot before me. When I finally rose to depart, my watch revealed time frozen at some point during my reverie. The darkness of the house now felt less like absence, and more like a tangible presence. As I retraced my steps through the hallway and descended the stairs, I realized that the mansion's silence had never been empty. It had been brimming with untold narratives, patiently waiting for a keen listener. Thoughts of returning to that study in the mansion often crossed my mind, to once again bask in the musical silence as the night descended. And in the quietude of my own home's stillness, echoes of that harmonious tranquility lingered, a reminder that spaces hold more than mere memories. They cradle remnants of all the souls who have traversed them, waiting in the shadows and dust for someone to acknowledge their lingering warmth. Story 17. Venturing into an ancient restaurant destined for destruction, I was captivated by a peculiar scent lingering in the stale air, a fusion of freshly baked bread entwined with a hint of charred sugar. Soft light from a single bulb cast eerie shapes on the peeling walls, and every creak of the empty dining area murmured tales of lavish banquets and long-forgotten sorrows. Abandoned places had always beckoned to me, offering a curious solace in their quietude. As a seasoned photographer specializing in capturing the essence of decaying urban landscapes, I believed myself immune to surprise. Yet, as I crossed the threshold of this place, a sense of unease settled upon me. The waning sun filtered through dusty windows, painting ethereal patterns on worn wooden floors like spectral footprints. The kitchen, the heart of the restaurant, drew me nearer with its tarnished stainless steel surfaces, worn by years of neglect. However, something felt awry. The surfaces appeared unusually clean, devoid of the expected layer of dust. Running my fingers along a countertop, I found it unexpectedly smooth and cool to the touch. A subtle warmth, almost imperceptible, radiated from the ancient brick oven nestled in the far corner. The enchanting aroma grew stronger as I approached, carrying whispers of rosemary and thyme beneath its sugary sweetness. My logical mind protested against the notion of a warm oven in this abandoned place, yet the stones exuded a heat akin to a slumbering giant's breath. In the dimness, I could have sworn I glimpsed a flicker of movement within the oven's darkened maw. Forgotten by my side, my camera, I found myself drawn to a small office concealed behind the kitchen. Faded photographs adorned the walls, faces from bygone eras peering through scratched glass. One picture, in particular, seized my attention. A group of employees stood proudly before the brick oven. The photo dated just weeks before the abrupt closure of the restaurant 3 decades ago. The longer I scrutinized the image, the more details unfurled before me. The oven stood unchanged, down to the peculiar arrangement of weathered bricks framing its arch. Yet there was something more, a shadow in the background, barely discernible, its form eluding my understanding. As I leaned in closer, the scent of baking bread intensified, accompanied by a soft humming that seemed to resonate from the kitchen. Time itself seemed to warp within that space. The external light barely shifted, yet my watch indicated the passage of hours. Upon reviewing the photographs I captured that day, peculiar anomalies emerged. Mysterious figures lurking in the background, wisps of steam rising from an oven that should have been cold and lifeless. Periodically, an inexplicable pull drew me back to that restaurant, yet my attempts to locate it proved futile. The streets appeared to twist and warp, concealing its whereabouts. But on tranquil nights, a faint aroma of bread and burnt sugar would waft through my window. In those moments, I questioned if the restaurant had sought me out instead of the reverse. The anticipated demolition never came to pass. The demolition crew arrived one morning to find naught but an empty lot, as if the building had never existed. Locals whispered of certain evenings when, under the perfect illumination, the spectral outline of the old restaurant shimmered in the air. And if one listened keenly, the faint sound of an oven door creaking open could be heard, accompanied by the scent of freshly baked bread emanating from a kitchen that had faded from our world. I still possess the photograph I took that day, the one of the staff standing before the brick oven. At times, late into the night, I study it intently, attempting to unravel the mysteries I encountered. The shadow in the background now appears clearer, resembling a figure clad in an apron, hands poised as if kneading intangible dough. Yet the most perplexing detail, unnoticed until recently, is the reflection in the oven's gleaming handle. A figure capturing the picture, garbed in the same attire I wore on my visit, standing in a kitchen abandoned for 30 years. As I pen these words, the fragrance of bread and burnt sugar envelops my apartment, more potent than ever before. In the periphery of my vision, I catch glimpses of a warm glow emanating from an ethereal oven that exists only in memory. Story 18. On a chilly fall morning, as I reached for the morning paper, a folded note caught my eye, nestled among the usual bills. The handwritten message, in elegant script, held an air of mystery and unease. The crisp air carried hints of fallen leaves and distant rain, setting a tranquil yet enigmatic scene. Unfolding the note, a shiver ran down my spine, a reminder that some secrets have a way of finding us when we least expect it. The message was concise yet puzzling. What you seek lies beneath the 7th floorboard from the hearth. Living alone in my grandmother's ancient Victorian home, a place steeped in history and enigma, this message struck a chord deep within me. The handwriting seemed oddly familiar, reminiscent of my grandmother's graceful script on her recipe cards, though she had passed on years ago. As the evening descended, casting long shadows across the room, I found myself drawn to the living room. The old grandfather clock beat steadily, marking the passage of time, while the wind whispered secrets outside. The worn hardwood floors murmured beneath my steps as I approached the fireplace. Tracing the floorboards, I counted slowly from the stone hearth. 1, 2, 3. Each number seemed to hang in the air, the house holding its breath. 4, 5, 6. The 7th board appeared no different from the others, yet a subtle chill ran through me as my hand brushed over it. In the dim light, A detail caught my eye, a faint gap at the edge of the board, barely noticeable. The wood felt peculiar here, almost responsive to my touch. With a gentle press, a soft click sounded, and the board lifted, revealing a hidden compartment below. A musty scent of age and secrets rose, mingled with a hint of lavender, my grandmother's signature fragrance. Within a burgundy velvet pouch lay a small silver key, intricate patterns dancing across its surface in the lamplight. Recognition dawned. This was the very key that had hung around my grandmother's neck, a key whose purpose remained a mystery. Its reappearance, years after her passing, held a mystique of its own. As rain tapped against the windows, creating a soothing melody, I sat in my grandmother's worn armchair, cradling the key. The house settled around me, its familiar creaks now laden with new significance. Shadows seemed to harbor secrets, every nook a potential hiding place. Memories of my grandmother flooded back, stories of hidden places and untold family lore. Raindrops continued their gentle patter, the grandfather clock ticking steadily. There was no rush to unravel this enigma tonight. Instead, I basked in quiet contemplation, realizing that some mysteries unveil themselves gradually, like dawn breaking over a familiar landscape. Drifting on the edge of slumber, my grandmother's voice echoed in my mind, a soothing presence guiding me. Patience, my dear. Some doors open only when we are ready to step through. The key lay warm in my palm, a comforting weight rather than a demand for answers. The enigma remained unsolved, but I found solace in its return to where it belonged. Hints of possible locks flickered in the attic's shadows, behind the study's wallpaper, or beneath the staircase. For now, I embraced the unfolding mystery, content to let it blossom at its own pace, like a flower unfurling to the morning light. The initial note that sparked it all rested in my grandmother's jewelry box, a gentle nudge to embrace the unknown with patience and wonder. For some questions, it seems, the answers reveal themselves only when we are truly ready to receive them. Story 19. Late one stormy night, as the rain drummed a soothing melody on my windows, I found myself in my study, book in hand. The room was cast in shadows, the only source of light being an unlit candle at the center of the table. Suddenly, without warning, the candle began to emit a soft, steady glow, pulsing in harmony with the distant thunder. It was a warm radiance, filling the room with a mysterious light that seemed to have a life of its own. The air carried a hint of melted wax intertwined with something elusive and otherworldly, captivating my senses. I was drawn to this enigmatic glow, watching as it danced across the pages of my old leather-bound book, casting intricate shadows. The rain continued its gentle lullaby, creating a peaceful backdrop for the inexplicable scene unfolding before me. Intrigued, I leaned closer, studying the unassuming white pillar candle that had now transformed into a mesmerizing beacon. Its alabaster light, reminiscent of moonbeams through morning mist, pulsed with a rhythm that matched the beating of my heart. Time itself seemed to shift in the presence of this ethereal illumination, the storm outside fading into a distant murmur. The room fell into a hushed stillness, even the old house settling into a respectful quiet. The glow from the candle began to weave intricate patterns on the walls, not random flickers, but purposeful shapes that seemed to hold untold stories within them. The atmosphere in the room subtly changed, the air thickening with unspoken tales and forgotten memories. I watched in awe as the light caressed the objects in the room, revealing hidden details and casting shadows that seemed to whisper of ancient secrets. The scent evolved, now carrying hints of vanilla and the musty fragrance of aged parchment, each breath unveiling new layers of this sensory symphony. As the night deepened, the candle's light interacted with the objects around me in curious ways. The crystal paperweight sparkled with rainbow hues, while the shadows cast by my fountain pens formed intricate patterns resembling cryptic messages. It was as though the light held a language of its own, a silent narrative waiting to be deciphered. With a sense of wonder, I reached for my journal, the ink on the page shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence. Each word I penned seemed to carry a weight of significance, as if imbued with the essence of the mysterious light. Hours slipped by in a trance-like state, the candle's glow unwavering in its silent vigil. As dawn approached, a subtle shift occurred in the quality of the light. The candle's glow melded seamlessly with the soft morning light, blending the magic of the night with the promise of a new day. The air now held the crisp scent of dawn, tinged with the lingering mystery of the night's revelations. When the sun finally rose, the candle's light merged with the natural illumination, leaving no trace of its nighttime enchantment. Only the faint scent and the words in my journal bore witness to the surreal experience. I keep the candle on my desk, a silent reminder of that extraordinary night. On quiet evenings when the rain whispers against the windows, I find myself transported back to that mysterious moment. The air thickens with possibility, and I wait in my grandfather's chair, wondering if the candle will once again share its silent tale with me, enveloping me in its timeless glow. Story 20. In the stillness of a late night, enveloped by the hushed whisper of pages turning and the comforting scent of aged books and coffee, a subtle awareness crept into the corner of my study. A shadow, elusive yet distinct, moved within the soft glow of the room, a form that defied explanation. My heart quickened, uncertainty clouding my thoughts as I grappled with the notion of a figment of my imagination or an uninvited guest from realms unknown. Outside, rain tapped a gentle melody on the window panes, a steadfast companion through the solitary hours of my scholarly pursuit. The antique lamp on my desk cast a warm radiance over the weathered tomes that encircled me, each bearing the marks of countless hands that had traced their spines. The grandfather clock in the corner offered a steady cadence, its ticking a familiar lullaby that blended seamlessly into the background of my solitude. As I endeavored to rationalize the inexplicable sight before me, a subtle shift in temperature brushed against my skin, causing a shiver to dance along my arms. The warmth from my dwindling cup of coffee dissipated unexpectedly, leaving behind a delicate sheen of moisture on its surface. Shadows, once static, now seemed to sway in defiance of the lamp's gentle flicker, casting intricate patterns that eluded my understanding. The leather-bound volumes on my shelves absorbed light in a peculiar manner, creating pools of darkness that seemed to stretch beyond the confines of the room. A faint aroma, ancient and enigmatic, drifted through the air, a blend of aged parchment, morning dew, and an elusive essence that tantalized the senses. It evoked memories of forgotten libraries and the secrets they held, intertwined with a hint of midnight skies and distant whispers on the wind. The figure in the corner remained a silent sentinel, neither advancing nor receding. When I dared to meet its gaze directly, it wavered into obscurity, yet in my periphery, it solidified into a discernible form. I averted my eyes, fixating instead on its reflection in the darkened window, where its presence seemed more defined, more tangible. My research notes lay abandoned on the desk, their ink appearing to writhe and morph under the subdued illumination. The words I had penned earlier now appeared foreign, as if penned by an unfamiliar hand in a script just beyond my grasp. Pages rustled softly, devoid of any breeze, their whispers weaving a spectral melody in the stagnant air. The grandfather clock's ticking assumed a new significance, evolving from a mere timekeeper to a cryptic dialogue between realms. Each beat beckoned forth a response from the shadows, a subtle dance that resonated with a primal instinct buried deep within me. The hypnotic rhythm drew me into a trance-like state, suspended between consciousness and reverie. Gradually, my fear ebbed, replaced by a profound curiosity. The enigmatic figure no longer felt like an intruder, but a long-forgotten companion, a presence from dreams long past or lives unlived. Reality blurred with imagination as the night unfurled its mysteries, and I struggled to recall when awareness of its existence had first dawned upon me. Heavy-lidded, I watched as light and shadow waltzed across the walls of my study, the books pulsing with a silent vitality that transcended mere stories. The rain outside whispered secrets in a language beyond comprehension, its cadence a cryptic code that eluded interpretation. Through the twilight hours, I came to realize that the figure had always lingered, a silent witness to my nocturnal endeavors. It had shared in my musings, my writings, and my moments of solitary contemplation, unseen yet ever present. And as the first light of dawn tiptoed into the room, a subtle fading began, a gradual dissipation akin to mist dispersing under the gentle touch of morning. The shadows retreated, the mysterious scent dispersed, and the clock resumed its familiar ticking. My coffee lay cold and forgotten, a testament to the passage of time. Amidst the growing brightness, my notes remained unchanged, devoid of cryptic symbols or shifting ink, save for a single enigmatic marking, a curved line intersecting 3 dots, a puzzle without a solution. To this day, in the late hours of night, I sense the presence lingering in my study, a silent companion in the liminal space between dusk and dawn. It remains elusive, a specter of the unknown, perhaps biding its time for a revelation or content in the quiet communion we share in the depths of night. Story 21. In a local museum of historic portraits, a painting caught my eye, drawing me in with a mysterious allure. Among the elegant figures depicted, there was one hidden presence that seemed to exist beyond the confines of the canvas. The gallery enveloped me in a reverent hush, with the scent of ancient wood mingling with the whispers of bygone eras. As I wandered the nearly deserted space, the only sounds were the occasional soft steps of a guard, echoing through the stillness like a secret shared between the walls. Autumn light streamed through tall windows, casting ethereal shadows that danced across the gleaming wooden floor, revealing a world of dust motes suspended in the golden glow. The air held a tangible essence of history, a blend of aged wood, oil paint, and the faint metallic hint of ornate frames. But it was that particular portrait that beckoned me back time and again. A Victorian family frozen in time, each detail meticulously captured, the mother's regal presence, the father's protective stance, and the children arranged with deliberate care. Yet, it was the elusive figure in the background that captured my imagination. A mere suggestion of form, a shadow within shadows, hinting at a secret waiting to be unveiled. The more I gazed upon it, the more it seemed out of place, as if a subtle anomaly woven into the fabric of the painting. Time seemed to stretch and bend as I stood before the enigmatic artwork, my reflection a ghostly apparition in the protective glass that shielded the scene. The atmosphere near the painting felt different, cooler somehow, as if a chill breeze whispered through the gallery, carrying unseen mysteries on its breath. My fingertips traced invisible patterns in the air, following the contours of the hidden figure without daring to bridge the gap between reality and art. Each round made by the guard became a rhythmic pulse, marking the passage of moments as I delved deeper into the painting's secrets. A soft voice startled me from my reverie, a curator, her silver hair a halo in the dim light, speaking of the painting's enigmatic history. The artist vanished before its completion, leaving behind a finished masterpiece that seemed to evolve with each passing observer. Visitors reported seeing different forms in the background figure, a specter that transcended time and perception. As the curator shared these tales, a shadow passed over the gallery, casting a momentary darkness that seemed to stir the painting to life. The hidden figure appeared to move closer, a silent sentinel observing the living world from its painted realm. The curator's gentle touch brought me back to the present, urging me to return and unravel more of the portrait's mysteries. That night, sleep eluded me, as visions of gilded frames and spectral figures danced in my mind. I returned to the museum, drawn by the painting's silent call, finding solace in its ever-changing tableau. The hidden figure remained a constant presence, a silent guardian of secrets that whispered across the boundaries of art and reality. The painting seemed to choose its viewers, revealing glimpses of a world beyond the frame to those willing to see. With each visit, I found myself drawn deeper into its mystery, pondering the nature of art and perception. Perhaps, in the quiet of the gallery, the figure in the background watched me as intently as I observed it, a silent exchange of gazes across an invisible divide. In that timeless space where light and shadow intertwined, the painting held secrets waiting to be discovered by those who dared to look beyond the surface. Story 22. The soft buzz of the vintage radio filled the stillness of my quiet apartment. Neglected for years, it hummed softly in the dim light, a relic of the past. As I reached to silence it, a voice broke through the crackling static, a voice that seemed to know me intimately. The radio perched on my grandmother's cherished side table, casting a warm glow from my reading lamp. The evening had been tranquil until that unexpected intrusion, with only the gentle rain tapping against my window as company to my solitude. Wrapped in my favorite blanket, lost in a book, the first hint of static pierced the peaceful ambiance. Initially, I thought I had accidentally nudged the table, triggering the ancient device. But rationality fled as I remembered the radio hadn't functioned since my grandmother's passing 5 years ago. It was a keepsake, a link to the countless evenings spent by her side, listening to melodies of yesteryears. The voice emerged from the static, a whisper that seemed to materialize from the mist. "I remember the butterfly," it murmured, almost imperceptible. My heart skipped a beat. The butterfly, a secret shared only with my grandmother, a fragile blue morpho that graced my hand during her funeral, a silent witness until the final farewell. The rain continued its gentle serenade outside as I sat frozen, fearing to shatter the peculiar enchantment enveloping my home. The voice persisted, navigating through the crackling. "You still keep the origami birds in the shoebox beneath your bed." Another clandestine revelation. The paper cranes, each bearing a whispered wish, a skill passed down by my grandmother, never exposed to prying eyes. The soft light of my lamp seemed to pulsate in harmony with the static, casting playful shadows on the radio's polished wood. A familiar scent, a blend of lavender and aged books, wafted through the room, my grandmother's essence. The atmosphere shifted, a cool breeze akin to mornings in her garden where we often lingered. More memories surfaced through the voice. The hidden key under a loose brick in her garden wall, the encrypted recipe for her blackberry tea, the melody of Moon River hummed in solitude. Each revelation washed over me like a gentle tide, unearthing buried recollections from the depths of my mind. Sinking deeper into my chair, fear metamorphosed into a profound tranquility. The static transformed into a soothing hum, reminiscent of ocean whispers or wind rustling leaves. Her voice, undeniably hers, continued its tender soliloquy, laden with shared histories. Time ebbed and flowed as I listened, the rain outside a distant melody accompanying her ethereal presence. My eyelids grew heavy, yet I resisted slumber, unwilling to miss a single syllable. Summer afternoons in her garden, secret woodland paths, untold stories, all painted vividly by her voice. With the night's descent, her words began to fade, melding once more with the static. The urge to reach out to unlock the unrevealed mysteries lingered within me. But a force restrained me, hinting that some enigmas are best left untouched. The final message resonated clearly, piercing through the static like moonlight breaking through clouds. The best secrets are the ones that remind us we're never truly alone. And then, silence engulfed the fading static, leaving only the rain's gentle lullaby and my hushed breaths. Since that night, the radio remained silent, untouched. Yet on occasion, when rain cascades just so and the evening light caresses its wooden frame, a faint echo of static seems to whisper, In those fleeting moments, I am reminded that while some secrets are meant to be safeguarded, others find ways to make themselves heard. Story 23. In a quaint gallery nestled in a serene corner of the city, I stumbled upon a painting that seemed to dance with each passing glance. Its colors shifted ever so subtly, and the eyes of the subject followed me with an uncanny intensity. The air was thick with the aroma of oil and turpentine, enveloping me in a sensation that made the artwork feel alive, vigilant, patient. I had taken on the role of night guard at this unassuming gallery half a year ago, seeking solace and peace after years of bustling retail chaos. The night shift embraced me like a familiar friend, just myself, the art pieces, and the gentle hum of the climate control system guarding over the precious treasures within. The painting that captured my attention hung in the western wing, where moonbeams often danced through the skylights, casting mystical shadows across the polished wooden floors. It portrayed a Victorian-era sitting room, bathed in muted browns and rich burgundies, featuring a solitary figure seated in a grand chair. The figure, a woman in a somber gown, her visage partly veiled by shadows, yet her eyes, those eyes held a mesmerizing depth, almost glowing. During my nightly patrols, I began to notice subtle shifts. Initially, I brushed them off as mere figments of light or my mind wandering in the stillness of the night. But I started capturing images with my phone, comparing them day by day. The woman's posture would alter ever so slightly, a hand moving from her lap to the armrest, her head tilting at a new angle, the room's shadows ebbing and flowing. The changes unfolded so gradually that no one else seemed to perceive them. The daytime staff carried on with their tasks, tourists snapped photos, and art students sketched in their notebooks. Yet in the quiet of the night, when only the soft patter of rain against the skylights filled the air, I sensed the painting's silent metamorphosis. I found myself lingering longer in that wing, perched on a wooden bench opposite the painting. The tranquil whir of the ventilation system became a soothing backdrop as I analyzed each stroke of the brush, every nuanced variation in hue. At times, I would bring my flask of chamomile tea, its comforting floral essence mingling with the gallery's familiar scent of aged wood and canvas. One exceptionally serene night, as moonlight filtered through wispy clouds, I noticed a new element in the painting. Behind the woman's chair, partly concealed in the parlor's shadows, stood a door that I was certain had not been there before. Slightly ajar, it revealed naught but darkness beyond. The woman's eyes seemed to hold a knowing gaze, as though sharing a secret unspoken. I found myself drawn into extended periods of contemplation before the painting. The gentle creak of the old gallery's timber floors transformed into a lullaby, and the darkness beyond that painted door seemed to hold infinite possibilities. Occasionally, in the realm between wakefulness and slumber, I fancied I could perceive the whisper of fabric, the rustle of the woman's gown as she shifted in her seat. What intrigued me most was how the painting mirrored my own state of mind. On tranquil nights, the parlor exuded warmth and welcome, the shadows gentle and embracing. During storms, when thunder rumbled in the distance, the room's corners darkened, and the woman's expression bore a hint of caution or worry. The gallery owner noticed my captivation with the artwork and divulged its mysterious origins one morning as I concluded my shift. The painting had been gifted anonymously, arriving devoid of any documentation on its artist or history. Every effort to date it or attribute it to a particular creator had proved fruitless. The techniques employed seemed to span various epochs, rendering it unplaceable in any specific era. As the months drifted by, I fostered a profound bond with the enigmatic painting. The woman became a silent companion during my solitary nights, her ever-evolving presence a reminder that reality may be more flexible than we perceive. The soft glow of the security lights, the hushed murmurs of the heating system, and the gentle creaking of settling walls cocooned us in a realm of tranquility during our shared vigil. I never did unravel the enigma of the painting's transmutations. Perhaps it was the interplay of moonlight and shadow, or perchance something more inexplicable was at play. Yet, I came to grasp that some mysteries are best left uncharted, existing in that ethereal space between the tangible and the fantastical. Now, as I sit within the hushed gallery, watching the fading sunbeams paint the walls in amber hues, I observe that the door in the painting has widened slightly tonight. The woman's countenance bears a hint of enticement, and for a fleeting moment, I ponder what might unfold if I could step through that canvas into her world. But for now, I am content to dwell in this tranquil liminal realm, where reality and reverie entwine like threads in an infinite tapestry. Story 24. In the quiet hush of the night, weary from the day's toils, I entered the elevator of my building. To my surprise, I was not alone in this metal box that moved between floors with a gentle hum. In the far corner stood a solitary figure, cloaked in shadows, their presence enigmatic and still. The air within the elevator carried a chill that lingered, wrapping around me like a mysterious shroud. I couldn't shake the feeling that this stranger had a purpose for being here, a purpose veiled in secrets, waiting to be unraveled. As I reached out to press the button for my floor, the soft whirring of the machinery filled the confined space. The lighting, dim and golden, cast elongated shadows that danced along the walls, making the corners seem deeper and darker than they should be. My companion remained a silent sentinel, their form obscured by a long dark coat blending seamlessly into the shadows. Ascending upward, I felt the temperature within the elevator steadily drop. Thin layers of condensation began to form intricate patterns on the metal walls, catching the dim light in a mesmerizing display. A scent, ancient and earthy, permeated the air, a mix of old books and fallen leaves, stirring memories long forgotten. Breathing in the strange aroma, I found myself inhaling deeply, each breath a tentative exploration of the unknown. The floor numbers glowed softly, illuminating our journey one level at a time. Yet the sequence of floors felt askew, out of order in a way that defied logic. Floor 3, then 7, then 2 passed by in a surreal succession, leaving me bewildered and disoriented. My timepiece, a reliable companion, had ceased its ticking, frozen at a time that didn't align with reality. The hands pointed to 6:47, a time that contradicted my memory of leaving work long after dusk. The elevator's movement, once mechanical and predictable, now felt weightless, as if we were gliding through time itself. The usual clinks and clatters of the elevator had transformed into a melodic symphony, a distant chime echoing through the metal chamber. My reflection in the polished doors revealed only my own visage, the stranger's absence a haunting enigma. Yet their unseen presence lingered, a ghostly touch upon my senses. With each passing moment, the air grew heavier, pregnant with unspoken truths and untold tales. My fingers trailed along the cool metal handrail, discovering faint engravings that seemed to whisper in forgotten tongues. They spoke of patience, of observation, of the countless souls traversing this vertical passageway of time and existence. A subtle movement from the shadowed figure caught my eye, revealing pale hands holding a gleaming brass key. Its radiance pierced the dimness, resembling a key I had recently discovered in my grandfather's study. The weight of my own key in my pocket suddenly felt burdensome, an anchor to this mysterious encounter. As I caressed my key, the elevator's lights flickered in synchrony with my heartbeat, a dance of illumination and shadow. The stranger's key emitted a soft, pulsating glow, mirroring the rhythm of our shared moment. The space between us crackled with anticipation, a realm where possibilities bloomed like night-blooming flowers. The elevator continued its ethereal journey, passing through floors that defied conventional reality. Each number brought us closer to an unknown destination, a destination shrouded in enigma and allure. The silence between us deepened, becoming a language of its own, a silent conversation between kindred spirits bound by a shared secret. Time ebbed and flowed, a fluid current washing over us, stretching and compressing like a cosmic breath. The elevator's movement became imperceptible, a suspended pause in the grand symphony of existence. Frost patterns adorned the walls, weaving intricate tales in delicate ice crystals, whispering of forgotten memories and lost dreams. I swayed slightly, entranced by the surreal beauty of this timeless moment. The stranger's presence behind me no longer felt ominous but familiar, like a half-remembered lullaby from childhood. The key in my pocket radiated warmth, merging with the heat of my own flesh until boundaries blurred and melded into one. Above the elevator door, the display ceased its numerical dance, revealing a cryptic symbol that defied comprehension. It flickered and shifted, a mirage of meaning just beyond reach. I became aware of the stranger's breath, a rhythmic echo of my own, a shared cadence in the symphony of our encounter. Standing there, amidst the mysteries of the elevator, a realization dawned upon me. This was not merely a ride between floors. It was a nexus of intersecting paths, a convergence orchestrated by unseen hands. The stranger, a guide in the shadows, beckoned me towards a door unseen, a threshold to a world beyond worlds. When the elevator finally stilled, its doors parted to reveal a corridor that defied logic and reason. Lined with doors of luminous essence, the hallway beckoned us forward, a gateway to realms uncharted. The stranger advanced, their key raised in silent invitation, and I felt my own key responding, a silent call to adventure. That night, I did not reach my intended floor. Instead, I followed the stranger into that otherworldly corridor, where light and shadow danced in eternal embrace. Sometimes, in the quiet hours of twilight, I returned to the elevator, hoping to glimpse that enigmatic figure once more. And on rare occasions, when the light strikes the walls just so, I see frost patterns that whisper of that fateful night, of doors leading to realms between the known worlds. Story 25. As a sudden downpour enveloped the city on an otherwise unremarkable evening, I sought shelter beneath an awning, escaping the relentless rain. Amidst the rhythmic drumming of droplets against the pavement, a faint, urgent whisper reached me, carried by the storm's embrace. The cool, damp air bore the fragrance of fresh rain and distant thunder, while the whispered words hinted at enigmatic secrets yearning to be unveiled. Mesmerized by the symphony of raindrops on the canvas above, I heard the whisper once more, clearer this time, akin to a voice murmuring just behind me. Turning, I faced only emptiness, the encroaching dusk cloaking the surroundings in shadow. Street lamps flickered to life, casting a gentle glow that formed halos in the misty atmosphere. The voice beckoned me, drawing me towards a narrow alley nestled between weathered brick buildings. Normally, I would have dismissed such a peculiar urge, but this evening held a different allure. The whisper bore no ill intent, only a tender insistence reminiscent of my grandmother's soothing bedtime tales. With cautious steps, I ventured into the alley, the rain softening to a gentle mist as I advanced. The warmth of the brick walls against my skin, despite the evening's chill, hinted at a history steeped in sunlight, now gradually released into the night. Each step created soft splashes in the shallow puddles, forming mesmerizing patterns reflecting the light above. The alley unfolded into a secluded courtyard, shielded from the outside world by towering edifices. At its heart stood an ancient fountain, weathered by time and elements. Water cascaded from its spout, harmonizing with the rain to create a melodic serenade. The whisper resonated from the fountain itself, growing stronger with each stride. Clusters of small blue flowers encircled the base, their petals aglow with an otherworldly light pulsating in harmony with the falling water. These blooms, a rarity to my eyes, appeared both ancient and freshly blossomed, existing in multiple junctures of time simultaneously. Kneeling by the fountain, a sense of familiarity washed over me inexplicably. Faint markings adorned the stone, resembling inscriptions of an unknown language. Tracing my fingertips over the symbols, they morphed beneath my touch, akin to words dissolving in water. The whisper coalesced into coherent phrases, alluding to memories, pledges, and cyclical time akin to the fountain's spiraling waters. It recounted tales of erstwhile visitors drawn to this sanctum across centuries, lured by the same gentle summons on rainy nights. Within the fountain's pool, reflections materialized that defied reality, glimpses of bygone eras, alternate lives, and fleeting moments mirrored back at me. Each reflection wavered and faded like fleeting dreams upon awakening, leaving behind a faint imprint of what once was. The blue flowers continued their tranquil pulsations, casting ephemeral shadows that danced along the courtyard walls. Time ebbed differently within this haven, akin to honey languidly dripping from a spoon, sweet and unhurried. A sense of calm enveloped me, dispelling any urgency or fear as the whispers evolved into a comforting presence, akin to a forgotten lullaby from childhood. Seated beside the fountain, the rain persisted in its gentle descent, veiling the hidden enclave in a curtain of water, separating it from the mundane world beyond. Secrets were shared through whispers that I knew would elude my complete recollection, yet linger in the recesses of my dreams. Rising to depart, I noticed a solitary blue flower detached, resting in my palm. Its luminescence had dimmed to blend with reality, yet retained its intrinsic beauty. The whispers waned as I retraced my steps through the alley, yet their warmth lingered like a tender embrace. Stepping back onto the street, the rain had ceased, though the air remained laden with moisture. Familiar street lamps illuminated the glistening pavement, life resuming its customary rhythm. But within me stirred a profound transformation, a mark left by the enigmatic allure of that concealed courtyard. On rainy evenings since, a faint echo of those whispers occasionally graces the wind. The blue flower rests on my windowsill, appearing ordinary to the casual observer. Yet in the silence of night, it pulses softly with a gentle light, a reminder of vows whispered in the rain, of enigmas veiled just beyond our perception, patiently awaiting discovery by those attuned to the whispers within the storm. Story 26. As I paused by the tranquil pond, I leaned in to study my reflection in the softly rippling water. What I beheld caused me to halt, a faint visage, barely discernible amidst the ripples, that bore no resemblance to my own. The atmosphere held a gentle mist, carrying with it the nostalgic scent of algae, while the image seemed to murmur an ancient, forgotten saga veiled deep within the water. I knelt there, captivated by the serene motion of the water, memories of my grandmother's tales about water spirits swirling through my mind. She always professed that placid waters harbored secrets for those patient enough to heed. The gentle rustling of leaves above wove a lulling melody, interspersed with the occasional splash of minuscule fish breaching the surface. Following that initial encounter, I found myself drawn to the pond more frequently. Each evening, as the sun commenced its gradual descent, casting elongated shadows across the water's expanse, I would perch on the weathered wooden bench nearby. In this light, the water possessed an ethereal quality, neither mirror nor window, but something betwixt. Sometimes I glimpsed that mysterious countenance, always on the verge of clarity, akin to a word forgotten mid-sentence. Naturally, the locals held their speculations about the pond. Some asserted it was fed by subterranean springs connecting to ancient water networks. Others insisted it was fathomless. A venerable man residing nearby recounted witnessing lights beneath the surface on certain nights, though his demeanor conveyed a tranquility that prompted me to ponder the veracity of his words. On a particularly mist-laden evening, the water appeared altered, utterly calm, akin to glass, reflecting the deepening purple sky above. Enveloped in the comforting hush, I discerned a peculiarity about my own reflection. It seemed to lag slightly behind my movements, as if observing me with inquisitive intent. The previously glimpsed face materialized with greater clarity now, feminine features with eyes that bore witness to centuries of patience. In that instant, a faint tug in my mind arose, akin to the inception of a dialogue. No words were exchanged, yet impressions commenced flowing into my thoughts. I glimpsed the pond across time, centuries of shifting seasons, of individuals entering and departing, of secrets shared and safeguarded. The countenance in the water had borne witness to it all, safeguarding memories too precious or perilous for the world above. The air grew dense with humidity, and minuscule droplets gathered on my skin. Despite my attire gradually dampening, I remained immobile, transfixed by the wordless exchange. The face unveiled more. Ancient rites enacted at the water's edge, lovers exchanging vows, children learning to swim, elders finding solace in their concluding moments. The pond transcended mere water. It embodied a custodian of narratives, a silent chronicler of human existence. As night descended fully, accompanied by a chorus of crickets and the sporadic distant hoot of an owl, I realized I had lingered there for hours. The countenance began to fade, but not before imparting one final impression, a sense of appreciation for being genuinely perceived, for someone acknowledging its presence after so long. The water rippled gently, as if stirred by an unseen breeze, and the surface reverted to its customary state. On my way home that night, clad in mist-dampened garments, I sensed a subtle yet profound alteration within me. The world appeared enriched somehow, layered with concealed significance and untold tales. I comprehended then why my grandmother reverently spoke of water spirits. They were not intended to instill fear, but to prompt us of the profound connections flowing beneath the veneer of daily life. I continue to frequent the pond regularly, though I have not encountered such a lucid connection with the countenance in the water again. Occasionally, when the light strikes the surface just so, I catch a glimpse of those age-old eyes and sense a familiar, gentle tug in my mind. The pond has become my refuge, a realm where the boundary between past and present, memory and reality, thins wondrously. Many inquire why I spend extensive periods by the water, particularly on mist-shrouded evenings. I simply smile and convey that I am attuned to ancient narratives. For certain enigmas are meant to be encountered rather than elucidated, felt rather than grasped. And within the tranquil ripples of that age-old pond, I have discovered that the demarcation between observer and observed can blur, engendering a ballet of reflection that transcends the ordinary confines of our world. The countenance in the water persists as my silent companion, a custodian of memories both personal and collective. In its presence, I have gleaned that the most profound mysteries often unfurl in the quietest manner, whispering their secrets to those who take the time to listen, to observe, and to marvel. Story 27. In the hush of my living room, deep into the night, a gentle piano melody unfurled, filling the room with its ethereal presence, though no visible hands graced the keys. The notes meandered through the dimness, weaving a tapestry of sound that intertwined with the musty aroma of ancient books and dust particles suspended in the air. I sat ensnared, a curious blend of captivation and unease washing over me as the tune, foreign yet familiar, emanated from an unseen source. The soft moonbeams seeping through the curtains cast a silver sheen upon the piano's gleaming surface. Each key depressed in a seamless succession, conjuring a haunting nocturne that tugged at the strings of my soul. It was a melody of simple elegance, yet profound depth, carrying with it a poignant longing that resonated within me, evoking a melancholy ache. Enfolded in the embrace of my grandmother's cherished quilt, I remained rooted in my armchair, allowing the enigmatic music to envelop me like a shroud. The weathered floorboards beneath my feet exuded a familiar warmth, while the steady cadence of the grandfather clock in the corner provided a comforting backdrop to to the otherworldly composition. As the music continued its enchanting journey, subtle shifts in the room's ambience became apparent. The air grew cooler, bearing the faint fragrance of lavender, my grandmother's signature scent. The flames in the fireplace flickered with a languid grace, as though they too were under the spell of the mysterious melody. Each note lingered in the air, elongating time and weaving a dreamlike tapestry that blurred the boundaries between reality and reverie. With closed eyes, I endeavored to etch every nuance of this surreal moment into my memory. The piano's notes cascaded like droplets into a tranquil pond, each creating ripples that melded seamlessly with the next. Beneath the primary melody, whispers of familiar tunes hovered at the edge of recognition, tantalizingly close yet elusive. Upon reopening my eyes, I discerned a shift in the moon's position, casting new shadows across the room. The music had evolved, assuming a softer, introspective quality. Details previously unnoticed now caught my attention: the gentle sway of the sheet music stand, the precise movement of the pedals, the subtle groan of the piano bench devoid of any physical presence. Memories stirred within me, conjuring images of bygone summer evenings spent listening to my grandmother's melodic reveries at this very instrument. I recalled her closed eyes, lost in the enchantment of the music, as if transported to a realm beyond the tangible world. It was as though the enigmatic pianist tapped into my thoughts, intertwining fragments of my grandmother's lullabies with the existing composition, crafting harmonies that spoke of both jubilation and sorrow. The room's temperature fluctuated imperceptibly, enfolding me in patches of warmth reminiscent of long-forgotten embraces. Shadows danced upon the walls in synchrony with the music, and fleeting glimpses of phantom hands gliding over the keys teased my peripheral vision, vanishing whenever I tried to focus on them directly. Time ebbed and flowed, its passage indiscernible. The melody gradually decelerated, each note deliberate and laden with significance. The music waned, a voice fading into silence, leaving behind a subtle current of energy that lingered in the air, inexplicable yet palpable. A gentle zephyr brushed against my cheek, carrying with it the familiar lavender scent, now intermingled with the earthy fragrance of aged wood and polished piano keys. As the final notes dissolved into the stillness, a tranquil serenity settled over the room. The piano lay dormant, its keys motionless, yet the atmosphere thrummed with a mystical essence beyond rational comprehension. The grandfather clock tolled softly, its chimes marking the impending dawn, and I realized the night had waned into the early hours of morning. The enigmatic pianist, who or whatever it may have been, remained a mystery unresolved. The haunting melody lingered in my memory, a spectral echo I could never quite replicate. On quiet nights, when the moon bathed the room in its silvery glow, I would ensconce myself in the familiar armchair, awaiting the resurgence of those enigmatic notes. Though the unseen musician never returned, a sense of presence, like a phantom hand hovering over the keys, often graced the room, hinting at the possibility of another nocturnal performance. The piano, a silent sentinel in my living space, bore the traces of neglect amid sporadic polishings. Yet as I passed by, a faint whisper of lavender would tease my senses, and the keys exuded a residual warmth, a remnant of that extraordinary night. Perhaps some enigmas are not meant to be deciphered but embraced as ethereal treasures, cherished like memories that blur the boundaries between the tangible and the ineffable. Story 28. As I ventured into an abandoned structure on a dare, I found myself in a vast hall that echoed with every step I took. In the midst of the eerie silence, a clear, almost jubilant laughter filled the space, bouncing off the chilling stone walls. The sound carried a strange mix of invitation and unease, blending with the lingering scent of dust and decay that hung in the air. Intrigued yet cautious, I followed the laughter deeper into the darkness, unsure if it was a memory beckoning me or a warning to turn back. With each hesitant step, the air grew heavier, burdened with the weight of untold tales suspended in the atmosphere. Moonlight filtered through tall, arched windows, painting elongated shadows that danced across the worn marble floors. The soft rustle of autumn leaves, swept inside by a wandering breeze, mingled with the whisper of my footsteps, creating a delicate symphony of solitude that enveloped me. Tracing my fingers along the weathered walls, I felt the texture of peeling wallpaper beneath my touch, the faded patterns still hinting at their former grandeur. Time had softened the edges, much like it had softened the harsh lines of the building itself, wrapping the space in a cloak of forgotten elegance. Another burst of laughter echoed through the corridor, drawing me closer with the scent of old books and lost memories. The grand staircase loomed ahead, its steps groaning softly under my weight, as if whispering secrets of those who had walked there before me. Running my hand along the smooth wooden banister, polished by years of touch, I ascended, the darkness shifting from foreboding to comforting, like a velvet embrace rather than a looming threat. On the second floor, I found myself in a corridor lined with tarnished mirrors, their surfaces reflecting slivers of moonlight that created an ethereal glow. The laughter seemed to emanate from all directions at once, as if the mirrors themselves held ancient secrets and shared a silent, age-old joke. Beyond my solitary reflection, I glimpsed shadows of movement just at the edge of sight, like memories struggling to break free. Despite the autumn chill outside, a strange warmth pervaded the air, reminiscent of lazy summer afternoons in sunlit libraries where dust motes danced like stars. Beneath my feet, the wooden floorboards creaked in a rhythm that mirrored my heartbeat, forging a connection between myself and this forgotten realm. At the end of the hall, a slightly ajar door emitted a soft, golden glow that beckoned me closer. Not harsh like artificial light, but gentle like candlelight or the fading rays of sunset. The laughter, now softer and reminiscent of wind chimes in a gentle breeze, seemed to originate from within that room of light. Approaching the door, I noticed intricate carvings of figures dancing in a perpetual circle, their expressions caught between joy and an unnamed emotion. Inside, an ancient phonograph stood, its brass horn refracting the mysterious light that filled the room. Though the turntable spun without a record, the room exuded a warmth and depth, like stepping into a living memory. The laughter, now seeming to emanate from the very essence of the room, wrapped around me like a comforting shroud. Settling into a high-backed chair beside the phonograph, its velvet upholstery worn but still vibrant, I felt as if the room had been waiting for my arrival. A serene stillness enveloped the space, like the tranquil pause between heartbeats. Through the tall windows, the moon hung low in the sky, casting pulsating shadows that seemed to throb with life of their own. The laughter, now a gentle hum resonating deep within me, wove itself into the fabric of the room. Time lost its hold as I sat there, the moonlight shifting and painting stories on the walls in patterns that seemed to dance with ancient tales. In those moments, I glimpsed fleeting figures moving within the shadows, their motions synchronized with the rhythm of the phantom laughter. The room felt both foreign and familiar, like a half-remembered dream upon waking, blurring the line between reality and imagination. As dawn approached, painting the sky in hues of gray, I sensed a shift within me. The laughter had become a part of my essence, intertwining with my being, erasing the boundaries between observer and observed. With a sense of both urgency and languid slowness, I rose from the chair, feeling as though the room wished to detain me a while longer, reluctant to release me back into the world beyond its walls. I never returned to that forsaken building, yet on quiet nights, when the world hushed to a whisper, I would hear that distant laughter. It would reach me in dreams or in the fleeting moments between sleep and wakefulness, stirring a question of whether I had truly departed that room or if a part of me lingered there still. perhaps seated in the velvet chair, listening to the echoes of joy reverberating through the empty corridors, awaiting the arrival of another soul to uncover what I had stumbled upon, or perhaps what had found me. Story 29. On a serene evening, while nestled on my porch, a haunting melody drifted to me on a gentle breeze. It was a tune that held a delicate beauty intertwined with a hint of melancholy. The soft, ethereal notes wove through the air, mingling with the fragrance of recent rainfall and the earthy scent of damp grass. With closed eyes, I found myself captivated by this phantom music, feeling as though it beckoned from a realm beyond, blurring the lines between memory and enigma. Initially, I thought the melody might be emanating from a neighboring home, but its otherworldly quality hinted otherwise. It seemed to move through the night like wisps of silk caught in the wind, elusive yet undeniably present. The music evoked memories of an antique music box once owned by my grandmother, yet it bore a unique quality, with notes that twisted and lingered in a way no mechanical device could replicate. Drawn by an unseen force, I stepped barefoot from my porch, crossing the cool wooden steps into my garden. The dew-kissed grass beneath my feet grounded me in the moment as the melody grew faintly clearer. Moonlight filtered through shifting clouds, casting dancing shadows that seemed to sway in harmony with the mysterious song. The post-rain tranquility enveloped the air, every leaf and petal shimmering under the captured starlight. Subsequent evenings found me seated on my porch at twilight, waiting in anticipation. Sometimes the melody would return, carrying with it whispers of far-off lands, of pine forests, mountain streams, and the rustle of autumn leaves. On quieter nights, only the natural chorus of crickets and rustling leaves greeted me. Yet, even in the silence, I sensed a presence observing, listening, perhaps pondering me as much as I pondered it. Gradually, subtle changes unfolded in my garden. Flowers bloomed out of their usual season, their petals taking on a luminous sheen under the moon's glow. The old wind chimes gifted by my mother years ago chimed in perfect sync with the phantom melody, even when the air lay still. My feline companions perched alert on the windowsills, eyes tracking unseen movements, their tails swishing to the rhythm of the invisible music we alone could perceive. One crystalline night, as the melody meandered through my garden, I beheld a sight beyond belief. The dewdrops clinging to spider webs amid my rose bushes defied gravity, ascending skyward like miniature crystal notes fleeing into the heavens. Rather than fear, wonder filled me as I witnessed each droplet catching the moon's glow, transforming into tiny prisms that scattered rainbow hues across my garden. Intrigued by these phenomena, I began documenting them in a journal, noting how the melody shifted with the lunar phases. During the new moon, it murmured softly, akin to a hushed lullaby. But as the moon waxed towards fullness, the music swelled, growing intricate and layered, weaving harmonies that seemed beyond the capacity of a single instrument or even a full orchestra to produce. At times, I would awaken in the dead of night to find my room bathed in a gentle, pulsating light synchronized with the phantom melody's cadence. The light cast ephemeral patterns on my walls, forming fleeting images that dissolved when I tried to focus on them. My dreams became infused with half-remembered tunes and familiar yet elusive faces. Most peculiar of all were the trinkets that began appearing in my garden. Smooth stones that thrummed softly when held, feathers aglow with unearthly hues, and delicate spiraled shells that, when pressed to the ear, echoed fragments of the enigmatic melody. I stored these treasures in a wooden box beside my bed, where on tranquil nights they harmonized in a soft, secret symphony. As the seasons cycled, the melody evolved, incorporating the rustle of autumn leaves, the whisper of snowflakes descending, or the hum of summer insects into its ever-shifting composition. It became a constant companion, shrouded in mystery, yet as familiar as the night it first graced my ears. Visitors to my garden remarked on its peaceful ambiance, and the curious sense of time flowing differently within its bounds, though they never seemed to detect the extraordinary occurrences. I never sought to unravel the enigma of the phantom melody. Some things, I've learned, are meant to be felt rather than understood, moments to be cherished and savored. Even now, as I pen these words by candlelight on my porch, the melody drifts through the evening air, a reminder of the magical spaces where wonder dances, if only we possess the patience to listen. The music plays on, a bridge between realms, beckoning those attuned to dream of untold possibilities just beyond the veil of ordinary perception. Perhaps its true gift lies not in answers, but in the gentle assurance that mystery itself can be a balm, a soft melody that whispers of marvels waiting to be unveiled. Story 30. As I roamed through a labyrinth of hidden passageways on a rainy night, I chanced upon a wall adorned with vibrant graffiti that shimmered in the dimness of the wet evening. The colors seemed to breathe and move, almost whispering secrets that eluded my understanding. The sharp scent of spray paint mingled with the earthy fragrance of rain-soaked pavement, creating a strange yet captivating atmosphere. Drawn by an unseen force, I approached the wall, my footsteps hushed by the soft patter of rain on the ground. Each droplet painted a delicate melody as it slid down the luminous artwork. Beneath the distant glow of street lamps, the hues danced and merged like liquid light, rich purples blending into electric blues, tranquil greens mixing with warm amber tones. With every blink, the patterns shifted subtly, transforming abstract swirls into fleeting images, a face, a doorway, a key, before dissolving back into a mesmerizing chaos. The rain continued its gentle symphony against metal structures and overflowing drains, lulling me into a trance-like state. My fingertips traced the air near the wall, following the graceful curves of light. The colors cast ethereal reflections on my skin, merging me with the enigmatic masterpiece. A gentle breeze carried the scent of damp soil and night-blooming flowers, intertwining with the lingering sweetness of spray paint. Time seemed to warp in that moment. Reality softened, taking on a dreamy quality. At the corner of my eye, shadows moved in harmony with the shifting colors, not menacing but curious, like silent spectators sharing in the magic. The raindrops continued to capture and reflect the supernatural glow, weaving a spell around me. The pattern on the wall felt oddly familiar, like a half-remembered dream or a forgotten melody. Symbols repeated themselves, a spiral here, a burst of light there, hinting at a hidden language written in light and shadow. The temperature rose subtly as I gazed at the wall, the air crackling with a gentle energy. The colors pulsed in sync with my heartbeat, forging a meditative link between observer and art. In a puddle at my feet, my reflection stared back at me, distorted yet strangely clear in the dimness. For a moment, other faces seemed to materialize beside mine in the water. Gentle, inquisitive gazes that vanished like mist when I tried to focus on them. Ripples expanded in the puddle, each carrying specks of colored light. Time slipped by in that surreal space, minutes, hours, impossible to discern. The glowing artwork seemed to narrate a tale, though its full significance eluded me. It felt like standing on the brink of profound understanding, akin to grasping a fleeting dream upon waking. Stepping back, I realized the rain had ceased, unnoticed by me. The air retained its moisture, carrying the invigorating scent of petrichor. The colors on the wall continued their dance, now imbued with a sense of completion, as if they had imparted their message. Taking a few more steps back, I committed the scene to memory. Every detail held weight, the play of colors on wet surfaces, the whisper of wind in the alley, the lingering warmth in the air. Turning to depart, I observed my shadow on the ground, tinged with remnants of the mysterious hues, as though a part of the experience had melded with me. Even now, traces of those colors flicker at the edge of my vision. In rain-kissed windows, in sunlight filtering through foliage, in the realm between sleep and wakefulness. The alley has eluded me since that night, despite my searches. Yet on tranquil evenings when rain taps against my window, I can shut my eyes and almost sense the gentle rhythm of that luminous graffiti, still recounting its eternal tale to those who pause to listen. Story 31. The hotel's sign shimmered softly with an otherworldly glow on that misty night, beckoning me into its enigmatic embrace. The doorman's subtle smile welcomed me, ushering me into a realm where time seemed to stand still. The air was heavy with the scent of ancient wood and beeswax, enveloping me as I traversed the lobby with a sense of both familiarity and intrigue. My room, though modest, cradled me in its comforting embrace, lulling me into a deep slumber almost instantly, my weary body surrendering to the call of rest after a long journey. Morning light spilled into the room, pulling me from my dreams and guiding me back to the reality that awaited beyond the confines of my temporary sanctuary. Descending to the reception area, I was met not by the grandeur of the hotel, but by an empty expanse of overgrown grass swaying gently in the breeze. My travel bag hung limply from my shoulder as I stood there, a sense of disorientation settling over me. The fresh air carried the fragrance of dew-kissed wildflowers, a stark contrast to the polished elegance of the hotel that now seemed like a distant memory. Struggling to reconcile the vivid images etched in my mind from the previous night with the stark emptiness before me, I found myself lost in a realm of uncertainty. Every detail of the night before remained crystal clear in my mind's eye. The weight of the antique brass key, the hushed rustle of the burgundy carpet beneath my feet, the intricate dance of golden leaves on the wallpaper, all seemed to linger in the air around me, refusing to fade. Tracing the spot on my wrist where it had rested against the mahogany desk while signing the guest register, I recalled the weight of the leather-bound book, the richness of its pages, and the elegant flow of ink from the fountain pen as I inscribed my name. The room itself was a haven of understated luxury, with velvet curtains framing tall windows that offered glimpses of a tranquil courtyard garden. The air held a hint of lavender, and a single rose graced the bedside table, a silent sentinel in the night. The haunting melody of a piano lingered in my mind, its ethereal notes weaving a tapestry of mystery and nostalgia as I drifted into slumber. The music, so faint yet so vivid, whispered of secrets and stories untold, wrapping me in a cocoon of enigmatic comfort. In the light of day, questions plagued my thoughts. Had it all been a dream? The key in my pocket, worn with age, bore the weight of reality, a silent witness to a night that defied explanation. The number 247 etched on its surface served as a constant reminder of the enigma that had unfolded. Seeking answers in the waking world, I found only echoes of disbelief and fading memories. The once grand hotel had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a void where once it stood. The key remained my only tangible link to a reality that seemed to slip further from my grasp with each passing moment. Yet, as night descended once more, the aroma of polished wood and aged leather would drift through my senses, accompanied by the elusive strains of a piano melody that seemed to beckon from afar. In those fleeting moments between wakefulness and sleep, I felt a connection to something beyond comprehension, a thread linking me to a forgotten past. The key, now a silent guardian on my bedside table, bore witness to my restless nights filled with longing and uncertainty. Its faint gleam in the darkness hinted at a story untold, a door waiting to be unlocked, a mystery yearning to be unraveled. And so I hold on to the key, a silent sentinel of a night that may have slipped into the realms of the unreal. Perhaps one day in the veils of mist and memory, I will find myself standing once more before that glowing sign, ready to step into a world where time holds no dominion and mysteries wait to be unveiled. Until then, I drift in the liminal space between dreams and reality, haunted by the echoes of a hotel that existed for a single night and the music that lingers only in my soul. Story 32. In the quiet depths of my humble backyard garden, a peculiar discovery beckoned me into a realm of mystery and tranquility. While tending to the earth, I caught sight of delicate footprints etched into the moist soil, their presence a silent enigma. These tiny imprints led me on a whispered journey, vanishing into the dense verdure of untamed shrubs. The air was heavy with the mingling scents of soil and blossoms, carrying a hint of something unseen, a presence just beyond reach. Kneeling to trace the path of these enigmatic footprints, a subtle awareness of being observed enveloped me. The afternoon sun filtered through the foliage above, painting intricate patterns of light and shadow upon the ground. My garden, usually a sanctuary of peace and sanctuary, now held a veil of otherworldly quiet, a hushed anticipation that stirred the very air around me. Running my fingers along the edge of one delicate footprint, I felt the cool dampness of the soil beneath. These marks were not of any known creature, too small for a feline, too precise for a bird, and bearing a distinctly human-like shape. Their orderly arrangement hinted at a purposeful gait, a deliberate journey taken through the green tapestry of my garden. Deeper into the lush sanctuary of my garden, the fragrance of jasmine grew stronger, weaving a tapestry of sweet perfume around me. My wind chimes hung silent, untouched by the gentle breeze that stirred the leaves, adding to the enigmatic aura that enveloped me. The trail of footprints led me toward the old stone fountain, its murmuring waters a soothing backdrop to the unfolding mystery. Night after night, I found myself drawn back to the garden, watching as the ethereal footprints faded with the days passing, only to reappear in new configurations come morning. They meandered through the rose bushes, circled the herb garden, always leading back to the thicket, as if their creator dissolved into the green embrace of nature itself. To honor this unseen visitor, I left small offerings near the fountain, gifts from my garden, tokens of gratitude for the magic woven into my sanctuary. Each dawn, the offerings vanished, replaced by curious treasures, spiraled shells of unknown origin, stones that seemed to hold the moon's glow, and intricate patterns sketched in the soil with mysterious seeds. Whispers of curiosity stirred among the neighboring children as my garden bloomed with newfound vitality. Flowers blossomed with unprecedented vibrancy, struggling plants found new life, and the air shimmered with the iridescent wings of moths and butterflies, their colors defying definition. On a tranquil evening painted in hues of twilight, I sat by the fountain, enveloped in the scent of night-blooming flowers. Fireflies wove their gentle dance above the garden beds, and as I closed my eyes to the melody of the fountain, a whisper of movement stirred in the thicket. Opening my eyes, I beheld a figure perched at the fountain's edge, its form shifting between solidity and transparency, like mist kissed by the dawn. In a silent exchange of gazes, we acknowledged each other, a meeting ordained by the universe itself. The presence of this ethereal being brought a peace more profound than any I had ever known, a tranquility that resonated with the ancient wisdom woven into the fabric of creation. As night descended, the figure slowly dissolved into the ether, leaving behind a single footprint brimming with water that sparkled like celestial light. From that moment on, my garden bore a new essence, not devoid of presence, but pregnant with infinite possibilities. The footprints continued to appear sporadically, the offerings persisted, yet I ceased my quest for answers. Instead, I tended to my garden with a newfound clarity, embracing the understanding that some spaces exist beyond the confines of the known, bridging the realms of waking and dreaming. The footprints lingered as a gentle reminder that magic often whispers softly, leaving subtle impressions on the earth, transforming our familiar landscapes into realms of serene enchantment. And so, I nurtured my garden, knowing that within its embrace lay a world where mysteries danced with the shadows, where the known and unknown intertwined in a delicate balance of wonder and peace. Story 33. In the soft embrace of a rainy afternoon, I found myself drawn to an old trail, nestled near the edge of a dense forest. The air was heavy with the earthy perfume of damp soil and decaying leaves, each raindrop painting shimmering mirrors on the path ahead. To my surprise, there were moments when the trail seemed to dissolve into the surrounding wilderness, as if nature itself sought to keep its secrets hidden. Undeterred, I pressed on, the sound of raindrops on leaves creating a hypnotic melody that echoed in the stillness around me. Each step I took through the mud was deliberate, the squelching beneath my feet a comforting cadence in the tranquil symphony of the forest. As I ventured deeper into the mist-shrouded woods, a sense of ancient mystery enveloped me. Whispers of forgotten tales carried on the moist breeze. My gaze was drawn to the moss-covered trees, their bark adorned with curious circular patterns that defied natural explanation. The rain gradually transitioned from a downpour to a gentle mist, enveloping me in a surreal calmness. The trail ahead appeared and disappeared, as if playing a game of hide-and-seek with my senses, inviting me to follow its elusive course. It was as though the very path I trod was alive, pulsating with a rhythm that matched the beating of my heart. Time seemed to lose its grip in this enchanted forest, minutes stretching and contracting in a dance with the shifting light filtering through the canopy above. I found myself captivated by the way the mist caressed the trees, revealing a hidden choreography of nature's own making. The air was thick with a palpable energy, a vibration that resonated deep within me, stirring a sense of familiarity that I couldn't quite grasp. Deeper into the woods, I stumbled upon a phenomenon that defied logic, my footprints fading into oblivion behind me, as if the very ground conspired to erase any trace of my passing. The earth felt alive beneath my feet, responsive and velvety, as if acknowledging my presence in a silent communion. Strange occurrences became commonplace, rain falling upwards in defiance of gravity, stones rearranging themselves in cryptic patterns, the forest alive with a silent symphony of wonders. Far from instilling fear, these anomalies filled me with wonder and a profound peace, as if I had stumbled upon a hidden sanctuary untouched by time. The forest's melody expanded beyond the rain, whispers of wind chimes serenading me from unseen sources, weaving a tapestry of sound that carried me deeper into the heart of the woods. My breath synchronized with this ethereal rhythm, my mind attuned to the secrets whispered by the ancient trees. As the day waned, the trail's disappearing act intensified, sections vanishing before my eyes only to reappear in a tantalizing game of revelation. Yet I felt an intuitive guidance leading me forward, a silent understanding that transcended words. The mist took on hues of pale blues and soft purples, pulsing with a gentle luminescence that danced with the rhythm of my steps. Sparkling motes of light danced around me, responding to my presence with graceful movements that spoke of a hidden magic. When the time came to retrace my steps, a realization dawned. The vanishing trail had not been a mystery to be solved, but a lesson to be learned. It had shown me how to move through the forest in harmony, to blend seamlessly with the ancient pulse of life that thrummed through the woods. The rain continued its gentle serenade as I made my way home, the forest whispering its secrets in the fading light. I knew then that I had been granted a rare glimpse into a realm beyond the ordinary, a place where the mundane and the magical intertwined in a dance of eternal mystery. The vanishing trail, forever elusive and ever-changing, had taught me a lesson in humility and wonder, in the art of being present in a world where the extraordinary awaited at every turn. And as I close my eyes, I can still feel the ghostly touch of that mysterious path, guiding me through the shadows of dreams, forever vanishing and reappearing like a whispered secret in the night. Story 34. The rain whispered softly against the window, creating a tranquil symphony that enveloped the room in a cocoon of serenity. The air carried the earthy fragrance of rain-kissed wood and the lingering warmth of a cup of tea, its steam swirling lazily in the stillness. It was a night meant for losing oneself in the pages of a book, allowing the words to weave a tapestry of dreams as sleep beckoned like an old friend. Suddenly the silence shattered under the weight of 3 distinct knocks at the door, each one resolute and purposeful. Startled, I held my breath, my fingers pausing on the well-loved pages of my paperback. The clock's hands pointed to 11:47 p.m., its rhythmic ticking harmonizing with the patter of raindrops outside. Living atop my building, unexpected visitors were as rare as daylight in the dead of night, sending a shiver down my spine at the thought of someone seeking entrance at such a late hour. As the rain continued its gentle lullaby and the radiator hummed a familiar tune, I strained to hear any further disturbance. Could it have been a figment of my imagination, conjured by the eerie tales that often dance through my mind during nocturnal hours? Nestling deeper into my armchair, cocooned in a soft blanket, I willed myself back into the world of my book. Yet, the 3 knocks returned, echoing through the silence with a cadence that stirred something deep within me. It felt like a melody half remembered, a tune from a dream that lingered on the edge of consciousness. With cautious steps, I rose from my seat, the floorboards beneath my sock-clad feet whispering softly in protest. Approaching the door, a peculiar realization struck me. The usual draft that slithered beneath the door was conspicuously absent, an anomaly amidst the stormy night. Pressing my palm against the door's surface, I was met with unexpected warmth, as though the wood had basked in sunlight all day, a paradox in the midst of the rain's embrace. Closing my eyes, I allowed myself to be enveloped by the sensory world around me. Once more, 3 knocks sounded, softer this time, as if seeking permission rather than demanding entry. The warmth from the door pulsed against my hand, a gentle caress that stirred memories of tales my grandmother once shared about nights when realms blurred and visitors from beyond whispered ancient truths. Lost in contemplation, I stood rooted to the spot, feeling time stretch and warp around me like a silken thread unraveled. The ambient light in the room took on a golden hue, casting everything in a mystical glow that seemed to transcend the ordinary. Even the rain outside fell in a pattern that mirrored the knocks, a synchronicity that defied explanation. The door remained closed that night, a silent sentinel guarding secrets unknown. When I settled back into my armchair, I found my tea still warm, untouched by the passage of time. The clock stubbornly displayed 11:47 p.m., a constant in a world where time seemed to bend and weave like a river. In the quietude of rainy nights, a subtle warmth occasionally emanates from the door, a gentle reminder of that enigmatic encounter. I've learned to embrace these moments, understanding that some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled, but rather embraced in their ambiguity. The knocking never repeated, but a transformation had been sparked within me. I've come to realize that some enigmas are not meant to be solved, but cherished for the wonder they evoke. My grandmother's words echo in my mind, reminding me that certain doors are best left unopened, not out of fear, but out of reverence for the mysteries that bind our world. As I drifted into slumber that fateful night, a newfound peace settled over me, a tranquility born of the unknown. The rain continued its gentle descent. The clock maintained its steady cadence, and on nights steeped in magic, I feel that familiar warmth against my palm once more. And in that moment, I smile, embracing the gentle mysteries that lull me into a peaceful sleep, where questions fade and dreams take flight. Story 35. In the attic, amidst a sea of forgotten treasures, a hidden canvas whispered its secrets to me. Tucked behind an old trunk, the painting beckoned with an air of mystery, capturing a figure in the throes of transformation. Light and shadow danced upon the canvas, revealing features that tugged at my memories, though I couldn't place why. The scent of bygone days hung heavy in the air, mingling with the musty aroma of aged paper, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia around me. Seated upon a weathered chair, I watched as dust motes pirouetted in a sliver of light that slanted through a small attic window. The portrait before me seemed to shimmer, its edges blending into the raw canvas like whispers fading into the night. The face, both familiar and elusive, held my gaze captive, its eyes a window to a world beyond the frame. As the day waned, the attic bathed in a golden glow, casting long shadows that danced across the worn floorboards. A chill crept into the air, carrying the promise of autumn on its breath. I found myself drawn to the portrait, as if it held secrets meant only for my ears. In the fading light, the brushstrokes took on a life of their own, shifting and swirling with each passing moment. Amidst the symphony of creaking boards, I reached out to trace the lines of the wooden frame, feeling the echoes of time etched into its surface. The eyes of the portrait seemed to follow me, their depths unfathomable, yet comforting in their steadfast gaze. And as night descended, a peculiar enchantment unfurled before me. In the dimness, the painting revealed its secrets in whispers and sighs. Certain brushstrokes seemed to dance, changing direction with the shifting shadows, offering glimpses of hidden truths within the unfinished masterpiece. I found myself lost in contemplation, time slipping through my fingers like grains of sand. A faint inscription caught my eye, barely visible in faded ink. "Remember, the light changes everything." Those words, penned in a dreamlike script, stirred something deep within me, a connection to a past long forgotten. I gathered old journals and photographs, spreading them around the portrait like offerings to an unknown deity, seeking answers in the silence of the attic. Nights turned to days as I sat with the portrait, the moonlight bathing us in its silvery glow. Whispers filled the space, soft melodies that wove tales of forgotten dreams and untold fears. The unfinished nature of the painting became a mirror to my soul, reflecting emotions and memories long buried in the recesses of my mind. With each passing season, the portrait revealed new facets of itself, a kaleidoscope of possibilities that shimmered in the changing light. I pondered the artist's intent, wondering if the unfinished state was deliberate, a perpetual state of becoming, a canvas alive with endless potential. I became the guardian of this enigmatic presence, a silent companion in the quiet solitude of the attic. The boundary between observer and observed blurred, merging us into a symbiotic dance of light and shadow. The mystery remained unsolved, but in that uncertainty I found solace. Years drifted by like leaves on the wind, yet still I ascend the stairs to sit with the portrait. I document its ever-shifting essence in a small notebook, capturing the essence of its eternal evolution. And as I sit in the hushed embrace of the attic, I know that the portrait's perfection lies in its imperfection, in its ability to transcend time and space, inviting me to journey into the unknown, one quiet moment at a time. Story 36. In the dimly lit attic of our ancestral home, amidst the quiet chaos of forgotten treasures, I stumbled upon a bundle of weathered letters bound by a fragile ribbon. Each page held secrets of a bygone era, written in cryptic symbols that whispered of a hidden narrative waiting to be unraveled. The air was heavy with the scent of antiquity, a blend of aged paper and distant memories that enveloped me as I delicately unfurled the letters, as if unveiling a long-lost tale. Outside, the autumn rain tapped a gentle melody on the attic window, harmonizing with the rhythm of my own heartbeat. Sunbeams filtered through the dusty panes, casting a soft glow that bathed the room in a surreal light, painting the surroundings with a dreamlike hue. Nestled upon an ancient wooden chest, worn smooth by the touch of time, I delved deeper into the enigmatic contents of my discovery. The first letter bore a date from a century past, its elegant script flowing gracefully across the yellowed parchment. Amongst the familiar words, intricate patterns and spirals danced, exuding a faint warmth beneath my fingertips, as if imbued with life of their own. As I journeyed through the letters, a narrative emerged, weaving tales of seasonal shifts, lunar cycles, and ethereal dreams that straddled the realms of reality and fantasy. The mysterious author, known only as E, recounted midnight strolls through enchanted gardens and melodies that transcended earthly origins. The whispers of the wind mingled with the creaks of the old house, as if the very walls harbored their own untold stories, eager to be heard. With each letter, the boundary between the ordinary world and the mystical tapestry described within the pages blurred, drawing me deeper into a realm of shadows that defied the light, of time that ebbed and flowed like a wayward tide. The sixth letter hinted at a gentle ritual involving mirrors and moonlight, offering glimpses into parallel dimensions where past and present intertwined seamlessly. A soft rustle from the corner where my grandmother's rocking chair stood caught my attention, a subtle reminder of her presence lingering in the air. Lost in the intricate web spun by E, I found myself reciting the words with a reverence reserved for ancient incantations, the lines at once familiar and foreign, like echoes from a distant land. Some passages, inscribed in mirror writing, revealed their secrets only when reflected in the dusty attic window, adding another layer of mystique to the unfolding saga. As the afternoon waned and the golden light of dusk filtered through the attic, I realized that hours had slipped away unnoticed, lost in the labyrinth of letters that now held me captive. The final missive, penned in a trembling hand, spoke of profound revelations about time and memory, of echoes that lingered in the very fabric of existence. A subtle shift in the air caught my attention, as dust motes swirled in intricate patterns, mirroring the symbols etched on the aged pages before dispersing into obscurity. Reverently retying the ribbon around the letters, I understood that their essence had seeped into my being, altering my perception of the world around me. The rain outside whispered a language unknown yet strangely familiar, as if the elements themselves whispered the secrets of the universe. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows that danced upon the attic walls, a silent tribute to the mysteries that lingered within. With a newfound sense of wonder, I left the attic, knowing that some enigmas were not meant to be unraveled, but to be cherished as enigmatic companions on life's journey. In quiet moments, when the rain sings its lullaby on the roof and the light plays tricks on the shadows, I return to the attic, finding solace in the enduring mystery of E and the letters that bridge the divide between the known and the unknown. As I sit in my grandmother's rocking chair, enveloped in the whispers of the past, I am reminded that the world holds boundless wonders for those willing to seek them out, one letter at a time. Story 37. In a secluded corner of the local library, I stumbled upon a weathered leather-bound book, its spine cracked with age. Intrigued, I delicately opened its pages, only for a folded paper to slip out, falling gently into my hands. Unfolding it, I beheld a map like no other, adorned with cryptic symbols that seemed to pulse with hidden knowledge. The scent of old ink and history wafted from the paper as I traced the intricate lines with my fingertips. Mysterious markings danced along the margins, whispering of a forgotten world waiting to be unveiled. Lost in the moment, I sank into a plush armchair, the afternoon light casting a soft glow around me, creating a tranquil sanctuary amidst the towering bookshelves. As raindrops tapped against the window panes, a rhythmic melody filled the air, blending with the hushed whispers of the library. The map, a tapestry of secrets, beckoned me to decipher its enigmatic paths. With each passing moment, the ink seemed to come alive, shimmering in the dim light, guiding me into a realm of ancient mysteries. The library's grandfather clock chimed softly in the background, its echoes harmonizing with the pulsating symbols on the map. Mesmerized, I traced the lines that converged at a central point, marked by a majestic compass rose that seemed to point towards unseen horizons. Intrigued by the interplay of shadows and light, I noticed familiar symbols from the map etched into the stone archways of the library, blending seamlessly with the architecture. A sense of anticipation hung in the air, drawing me deeper into the labyrinth of knowledge and wonder. Following the map's subtle cues, I embarked on a journey through hidden passages, guided by the warm touch of the paper in my hands. The library's usual sounds faded into a distant murmur, as if holding its breath in anticipation of the revelations to come. Exploring uncharted territories within the library's maze, I stumbled upon a forgotten alcove, adorned with symbols mirroring those on the map. The air was heavy with the scent of antiquity, mingled with the essence of summer rain and distant thunder, creating an atmosphere of timeless allure. As evening descended, the library's lights flickered to life, casting ethereal shadows that danced around me. The map, now aglow with hidden pathways revealed by shifting angles, led me on a dance of discovery through the labyrinthine shelves. Tracing invisible lines with a sense of wonder, I felt the fabric of time ripple around me, offering glimpses into the library's past lives. Each hidden path uncovered a new layer of mystery, blurring the boundaries between reality and imagination. As the library prepared to close its doors, I carefully returned the map to its rightful place, the book's cover adorned with a single symbol akin to the compass rose. Yet when I attempted to check out the book, it eluded the library's records, as if existing beyond the constraints of time and space. Returning to the library under the veil of rainy afternoons, I found the book mysteriously shifting through the stacks, beckoning me to unravel its secrets once more. Other patrons, each engrossed in their own enigmatic volumes, shared in the silent dance of discovery. The library, once a mere repository of knowledge, had transformed into a realm of infinite possibilities and hidden pathways. Guided by the map's warming touch, I embarked on a journey of endless fascination, where every page turned revealed a new chapter of the enigma surrounding me. On quiet evenings, when the rain tapped against the windows and the grandfather clock whispered its ancient melody, I unfurled the map, ready to embark on another voyage of enlightenment. In the hush of the library's embrace, I traversed the shadowed corridors, each step bringing me closer to a profound understanding. Perhaps the true essence of the mystery lay not in the destination the map unveiled, but in the journey it offered. A voyage through the timeless expanse of the unknown, where every heartbeat echoed like a whisper of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Story 38: Inexplicable Whispers of the Theater. Drawn by an unexplainable yearning to explore, I found myself wandering into an aging theater on the outskirts of town, its former grandeur now shrouded in decay. The elaborate balconies and plush velvet seats murmured tales of days long gone, filled with applause and dramatic performances. Stepping onto the creaking stage, a faint, echoing voice reached my ears, weaving lines infused with both sadness and longing. The sound lingered in the air, bouncing off the weathered walls, mingling with the musty aroma of aged drapes and abandoned aspirations, casting doubts on the emptiness of the theater. A soft autumn breeze whispered through unseen crevices, orchestrating a subtle symphony of rustling papers and distant murmurs. My footsteps echoed softly on the wooden stage, each plank sighing under my weight. The atmosphere held a peculiar heaviness, as if traversing through layers of memories frozen in time. Above me, the grand chandelier hung motionless, its crystals coated in dust, but occasionally catching glimmers of light filtering through the lofty windows, painting delicate patterns that danced on the walls. My curiosity led me towards the wing of the stage, where forgotten props lay cloaked in sheets resembling gentle waves in the dim light. The voice I had heard seemed to emanate from this direction, though now it barely rose above a whisper. Amid the abandoned set pieces, I stumbled upon an ancient dressing room mirror, its surface hazy with age, yet exuding an otherworldly gleam. As I drew near, the air around me cooled noticeably, though not uncomfortably so. The mirror pulsated with an inexplicable energy that eluded my understanding. In its reflection, I glimpsed movements that did not mirror my own, like shadows of performers from a bygone era still perfecting their art. The voice grew slightly clearer, possibly a woman, reciting lines from what appeared to be a tragic love story. Her words carried a melodic quality that was both comforting and melancholic. Time seemed to warp within this space, stretching minutes into hours as I delved deeper, uncovering crumbling playbills and costume pieces that retained faint traces of perfume. The voice continued its soft soliloquy, guiding me through the forgotten recesses of the theater. In the orchestra pit, aged sheet music lay scattered across antiquated stands, the notes faded yet visible, as if awaiting musicians to revive them. With the approach of evening, the shifting quality of light through the windows cast elongated shadows that seemed to move with intent across the seats. The voice grew more pronounced, yet never surpassed a gentle murmur. I found myself seated in one of the better-preserved velvet chairs, observing as specks of dust danced in the waning sunlight. The theater appeared to breathe around me, its walls expanding and contracting under the weight of countless narratives. In that moment of tranquility, I comprehended that the voice was not directed at any individual. It was the essence of the theater itself, reminiscing. Each word carried remnants of past performances, of standing ovations and tearful farewells, of premiere nights and final curtain calls. The soothing rhythm of the voice intertwined these memories like a delicate tapestry, enveloping me in a cocoon of nostalgia. As night descended, the darkness introduced a new dimension to the voice, emanating from all directions and none simultaneously, filling the space with a warm resonance that caused the air to vibrate with gentle energy. Though the words grew clearer, their significance remained just beyond reach, akin to recalling a dream upon waking. The chandelier above now captured the moonlight, casting subtle rainbow reflections that danced like northern lights on the ceiling. I drifted between wakefulness and slumber, the voice acting as a tender lullaby. The boundary between reality and dream blurred further. In these twilight moments of awareness, I almost envisioned the phantom audience, their silhouettes suggested by the interplay of moonlight and shadow. They sat in reverent silence, captivated by the voice as much as I was. As the night deepened, a profound sense of tranquility washed over me. The voice began to fade, not abruptly but gradually, like a tide withdrawing from the shore. Its ebbing presence left behind a feeling of gratitude, as if my presence had acknowledged and validated the plethora of stories enshrined within these walls. The theater settled around me, groaning and sighing like an old companion preparing for slumber. When I rose to depart, the voice had transformed into a distant memory, a faint echo reverberating in my mind. Yet the theater felt altered, more vibrant somehow, despite its abandonment. With each step towards the exit, the aged floorboards protested softly, reminding me that some places never truly become devoid of life. They merely bide their time, safeguarding their stories until a willing listener comes along. Even now, months later, I am occasionally drawn back to that theater in the twilight hours. The voice remains, sometimes no louder than a whisper, a gentle nudge reminding me that behind every curtain and beneath every layer of dust lies a tale waiting to be heard by those willing to listen. The theater endures as a sanctuary where the boundary between past and present blurs, and where memories twirl like dust motes in the moonlight, forever preserved in the gentle echoes of that enigmatic voice. Story 39. In a forgotten corner of my home, while sorting through old belongings, I stumbled upon a locked drawer nestled within an antique desk. With a determined effort, the drawer yielded to my persistence, revealing a carefully folded note resting inside. The paper, aged and fragile, bore the elegant script of a bygone era, hinting at a concealed truth about the house's history. A delicate scent of cedar and faded ink wafted from the note, beckoning me to delve into its enigmatic message. As I unfolded the paper with utmost care, the gentle rustle of aged parchment reverberated through the serene room. Soft evening light filtered through lace curtains, casting ethereal shadows that danced across the worn surface of the desk. An aura of anticipation hung thick in the air, yet it carried a soothing quality akin to the calm before a gentle rainfall. The note commenced with a date from a distant past, penned in flowing calligraphy that whispered of forgotten times. "My dearest friend," it began, drawing me deeper into its narrative with each captivating sentence. The author recounted a series of peculiar occurrences within the very walls that surrounded me. Phantom footsteps echoing in empty corridors, objects shifting mysteriously in solitude, and the mysterious appearance of fresh blooms in a particular vase under each full moon. Mesmerized, I found myself sinking into the embrace of my chair, utterly absorbed in the tale unfolding before my eyes. The writer alluded to a concealed chamber hidden somewhere within the house, veiled behind walls steeped in untold secrets. According to the note, this clandestine room safeguarded not riches of gold or jewels, but treasures far more profound, a trove of memories frozen in the tapestry of time. The rhythmic ticking of the grandfather clock provided a hypnotic backdrop as I delved deeper into the writer's revelations, each word a thread weaving a tapestry of ancestral lore. The author unveiled the discovery of an ancient journal secreted within the walls, chronicling the lives of the house's original denizens. Yet these were no ordinary entries. They spoke of shared dreams spanning generations, of whispered dialogues transcending the boundaries of time itself. As darkness enveloped the world beyond my windows, I ignited an antiquated brass lamp, its golden radiance bathing the pages in a warm glow. The note hinted at a series of cryptic symbols etched discreetly into door frames throughout the house, markings I had hitherto dismissed as mere ornamentation. However, the writer revealed their true purpose as a map, guiding the way to the hidden chamber. Tracing the edge of the parchment, I absorbed accounts of the writer's quest to decipher these enigmatic symbols, their prominence waxing and waning with the phases of the moon. The gentle sigh of wind through swaying branches outside painted shifting shadows upon my walls, a silent chorus to the writer's musings on the house's living memory, a benevolent guardian of bygone tales. Approaching the note's conclusion, the author divulged a revelation of extraordinary magnitude. They spoke of dreams that blurred the line between past and present, vivid recollections of the house's history unfolding in the realm of slumber. In these ethereal visions, a spectral woman clad in blue graced the stage, her silent smiles pregnant with unspoken truths. The final passage bore a cryptic directive. When the midnight bells toll 13 times, and moonlight kisses the 7th step, the path shall reveal itself to those who listen with their hearts, not their ears. Breath suspended, I absorbed the weight of these words, attuned to the subtle symphony of nocturnal sounds, the whispering floorboards, the nocturnal zephyrs, the ghostly passage of time. Unmarked and enigmatic, the note left me with a tapestry of riddles, more questions than answers. As I gingerly refolded the parchment, a subtle detail caught my eye, a small sketch on the corner of the final page, a familiar geometric pattern teasing the edges of recognition. Glancing up from the desk, the room had transitioned into a deeper shade of night, save for the comforting glow of the lamp. The house seemed transformed, not with trepidation, but with a profound sense of knowing, an acknowledgement of the myriad sagas woven into its very foundation. Each shadow, every creak, and the subtle shifts in the atmosphere whispered of a concealed significance. Returning the note to its resting place within the drawer, I opted against securing it, sensing that this was merely the prologue to a grander enigma unveiling itself gradually like the dawn's silent ascent. Seated in the dimming twilight, contemplation enveloped me as I pondered the possibility of encountering the woman in the blue dress within the realm of dreams, and the enigmatic disclosures she might impart during the nocturnal hours. The grandfather clock's steadfast ticking persisted, a metronome to the passage of time, while a distant church bell tolled in the distance. Absent-mindedly counting each reverberation, my thoughts lingered on the mystery of the note. As the final echo faded into the embrace of silence, a whisper of fabric, akin to the rustle of a blue dress, brushed through the room, a phantom presence lingering in the stillness. Story 40. In a leisurely exploration of a forgotten subway tunnel, I found myself inexplicably drawn to a soft, unearthly glow emanating from the depths of the shadows. The air within was stagnant, tinged with the scent of rust and damp concrete, yet it carried a subtle beckoning that stirred my curiosity. Approaching cautiously, the glow unveiled ancient graffiti and weathered tracks, whispering of hidden truths concealed beneath the city's surface, secrets patiently waiting to be unveiled. A distant hum of machinery added a soothing background melody as I ventured further into the tunnel. Each step I took echoed softly against the curved walls, creating a rhythmic cadence that harmonized with my breathing. The atmosphere grew cooler with each passing moment, carrying hints of mineral-rich underground springs and weathered stone. The mysterious glow ahead remained constant, neither brightening nor dimming, casting gentle shadows that waltzed along the tunnel's worn facade. Drawing nearer, I observed how the light seemed to pulsate, expanding and contracting ever so subtly in a mesmerizing rhythm. Its hypnotic allure captivated me, drawing me deeper into its ethereal embrace. The soft symphony of water droplets played in the background, each droplet contributing to the tunnel's natural melody, reminiscent of wind chimes swaying in a gentle breeze, a tranquil counterpoint to my hushed footfalls. Dilapidated maintenance signs, their colors faded and peeling, caught the peculiar light, transforming into abstract art forms that ignited my imagination. The source of the glow remained elusive, forever appearing just beyond the next bend. Yet, there was no urgency to reach it. I embraced the unfolding mystery at its own unhurried pace. The tunnel's curvature distorted sounds, occasionally carrying whispers of conversations that seemed to echo from a bygone era, blurring the boundaries of time. The temperature remained consistently cool, the air stirring in gentle currents that bore the essence of mineral deposits and aged metal. My fingers brushed against the tunnel's rough concrete, alternating with smooth patches where water had sculpted the surface over centuries. Delving deeper, subtle shifts in the environment became apparent. The graffiti took on intricate designs, featuring symbols unfamiliar to my eyes. They appeared to morph and transform when viewed from different angles, creating a mesmerizing yet slightly disconcerting effect. Illuminated by the glow, these patterns seemed almost animated, as if attempting to convey a message just beyond my grasp. Gradually, the tunnel expanded into what seemed to be an ancient maintenance chamber. Here, the enigmatic light gathered like liquid sunshine, casting soft shadows that swayed and melded with one another. Dust-covered equipment cast elaborate silhouettes on the walls, each shadow narrating its own tale of the laborers who once inhabited these subterranean passages. At the chamber's center stood an aged control panel, its surface coated in a fine layer of sparkling mineral deposits under the strange light. Approaching it, I noticed some of the indicator lights still flickering, pulsating in a mesmerizing rhythm. The panel hummed imperceptibly, resonating with the glow that bathed the room. Yet what captured my attention most was a small logbook, its pages aged and yellowed, open on a nearby desk. Entries, penned in various hands spanning decades, recounted encounters with the same mysterious light that now captivated me. Some described a sense of tranquility in its presence, while others spoke of vivid dreams lingering for weeks afterward. The latest entry, only a few months old, hinted that I was not the sole recent visitor to this forgotten enclave. As if in response to my discovery, the glow seemed to pulse gently, acknowledging my presence. Settling into an antique chair, its cracked leather still inviting, I perused the entries with heightened interest. Each tale added a layer to the enigma, yet none offered a conclusive explanation for the light's enigmatic origin or purpose. Surrounded by the gentle radiance and soothing sounds of the tunnel, I felt a profound connection to those who had traversed this path before me. The light continued its hypnotic dance, prompting me to realize that perhaps its true essence was not meant to be unraveled, but rather savored and contemplated in tranquil solitude. The logbook's final pages lay blank, awaiting new narratives. Though tempted to share my own encounter, I decided against it. Some mysteries are best preserved as they are, awaiting discovery by future wanderers with fresh eyes and open hearts. Retracing my steps through the tunnel, the glow gradually waned behind me, yet its warmth lingered in my memories, a gentle reminder that not all unexplained wonders need to evoke fear. Even now I find myself drawn back to that tunnel on occasion, though never venturing as deeply as before. The mysterious light undoubtedly remains, perpetuating its eternal dance in the shadows, awaiting the next inquisitive soul to embrace its tender luminescence. In moments of quiet reflection, I ponder the experience, finding solace in the notion that some enigmas are best left unsolved, their mystery serving as a soothing lullaby for the imagination. Story 41. Deep in the depths of a late work night, the soft hum of my computer enveloped me in a cocoon of tranquility. As I sifted through a cascade of documents, the screen suddenly erupted in a flurry of static, crackling with an urgent whisper that pierced the tranquil air. The voice, barely discernible amidst the electronic symphony, uttered words that sent a shiver cascading down my spine. Bathed in the dim glow of the monitor, with only the gentle buzz of technology for company, I sensed an eerie connection between the digital abyss and a clandestine message meant solely for my ears. The whisper, growing in clarity with each passing breath, resembled a faint radio transmission gradually tuning in. I found myself drawn closer to the screen, captivated by an inexplicable force pulling me into its enigmatic embrace. The soft azure light caressed my features as I strained to decipher the cryptic words hidden within the static symphony. Each syllable seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of my heartbeat, forging an intimate bond between myself and the enigmatic entity beyond the screen. That night, my office bore an unfamiliar aura. The familiar contours of furniture cast ethereal shadows in the monitor's glow, while the nocturnal symphony of the building assumed a new significance. The whisper divulged enigmatic snippets, echoes of conversations never spoken, memories never lived. Yet, they resonated with an authenticity that hinted at a parallel existence within a digital realm. Gradually, the chaotic static unveiled intricate patterns, akin to frost etchings on a winter pane. The whisper guided my gaze across the screen, unveiling connections that eluded casual observation. My fingers trembled over the keyboard, as if intuiting knowledge beyond the grasp of my conscious mind. Anticipation hung heavy in the air, not tinged with fear, but with a sense of profound revelation. A subtle shift in temperature permeated the room. A cool zephyr seemed to emanate from the monitor, carrying a faint hint of ozone. My skin tingled with a gentle static charge as the whisper began to unveil secrets, not of dread, but of profound truths that resonated with the logic of a dream on the cusp of awakening. Time lost its linear constraints. The digital clock oscillated between midnight and the wee hours of the morning, yet the transitions felt organic, as though time itself adhered to a fluid dance of its own volition. The whisper expounded on the ephemeral boundaries between the digital and physical realms, revealing my computer as a portal to a realm where information pulsated with life. In that moment of epiphany, I comprehended that the static was not mere noise. It embodied a language both ancient and contemporary. The whisper became my tutor, unveiling the nuances of each crackle and burst, imbuing them with meanings that transcended conventional lexicon. My mind expanded to encompass concepts that once seemed fantastical, now as natural as the ebb and flow of breath. The journey deepened. Patterns of static materialized in the ambient air, akin to ethereal auroras pirouetting on the periphery of my vision. The whisper reassured me of the normalcy of this phenomenon, of my burgeoning ability to perceive the unseen tapestry that had always surrounded me. My consciousness traversed through realms of perception, each unveiling fresh layers of insight. I found myself typing code whose import eluded my conscious understanding, my fingers dancing in harmony with an unseen symphony. The whisper affirmed this as a crucial phase, a collaborative effort to forge a bridge between worlds. The characters on my screen metamorphosed into symbols that communicated directly with the recesses of my psyche. It should have evoked terror, yet instead it evoked a sense of returning to a place of innate belonging. Hours or days may have slipped by unnoticed. The whisper began to fade, leaving behind a parting gift, a heightened awareness of the clandestine tapestry woven within the fabric of everyday existence. As the static gradually dissipated from the screen, my gaze met the reflection in the darkened monitor. A subtle transformation had transpired in my eyes, now harboring a serene wisdom hitherto unfound. Even now, whispers of that enigmatic voice linger in the electronic hum of my devices. The static occasionally coalesces into familiar patterns, like an old confidant beckoning for attention. I've learned to embrace these moments, these gentle nudges, reminding me that reality harbors depths far more profound and captivating than our mundane perceptions. The digital void I unearthed teems with whispers yearning for a receptive ear to heed their cryptic lullabies. Story 42. On a moonlit journey homeward, the nearly deserted subway car felt unusually weighty. Nestled in the distant corner, a lone figure sat in quiet repose, their gaze fixed upon me as the train traversed dim tunnels. The air hung heavy with the mingled aromas of perspiration and stagnant air, instilling an eerie sensation of being observed. The gentle sway of the carriage and the rhythmic clatter of wheels against tracks wove a hypnotic melody that typically induced drowsiness. Yet this night bore a different essence. My focus incessantly gravitated back to the enigmatic stranger, whose mere presence seemed to warp the very essence of reality surrounding them. The flickering fluorescent lights overhead intermittently cast peculiar shadows that danced upon the weathered metal walls. A peculiar observation emerged about my fellow traveler. Their silhouette appeared faintly blurred, as if glimpsed through a rain-splattered window. Each blink or shift in my gaze momentarily sharpened their contours before softening once more. This subtle effect might have been attributed to my weary eyes, had it not been for the ensuing phenomenon. The stranger extended a hand in what seemed like a salutation, leaving trailing after images suspended in the air, akin to the luminescent trails left by sparklers in the night sky. Every gesture rippled through the space surrounding them, distorting the advertisements lining the walls behind. A chill descended upon the carriage, causing goosebumps to prickle along my arms. Time began to stretch and compress with each breath, the intervals between stations elongating, and the darkness beyond the windows deepening into an impenetrable void. The customary ambient sounds of the subway, the rush of air, the mechanical creaks, the distant echoes, faded into a velvety silence, leaving only the steady heartbeat rhythm of wheels on tracks. I found myself scrutinizing the stranger's attire, a blend of contemporary and antiquated elements. A coat that seemed plucked from either yesterday or a bygone era, shoes that oscillated between styles when not under direct scrutiny, Their countenance remained veiled in shadow despite the overhead illumination, as if darkness gravitated towards them. The stranger began to hum, the melody imperceptible to my ears but resonating within my chest, evoking reminiscences of childhood lullabies and forgotten reveries. Despite my heavy eyelids, I resisted succumbing to slumber, ensnared between comfort and disquiet. Subtle metamorphoses crept through the subway car. Advertisements shifted imagery when viewed askance. Metal poles contorted at impossible angles before snapping back to normalcy upon focus. Windows mirrored scenes that defied reality. Verdant gardens, grand libraries, distant constellations. The stranger rose gracefully, their movement akin to water in weightlessness. Advancing towards me, I noted their feet barely made contact with the floor. An opalescent shimmer enveloped them, akin to heat waves rising from scorching pavement. Their aura exuded an ancient wisdom and boundless patience, suffusing the carriage with a sense of timeless grandeur. Seated across from me, I briefly glimpsed their visage, kindly, ancient, familiar, yet impossible to commit to memory. Their voice, a whisper carried on autumn winds, intoned, "You perceive beyond the ordinary." I yearned to respond, to unravel the myriad enigmas swirling in my thoughts, yet found myself enveloped in profound tranquility. The train's gentle sway became a cradle, the obscurity beyond the windows transformed into a tender embrace. The stranger's presence no longer bore menace, but felt akin to reuniting with a long-lost comrade whose name lingered just beyond reach. Upon reopening my eyes, solitude greeted me within the subway car. The fluorescent lights hummed with their customary harsh luminosity, and advertisements displayed their usual wares. The atmosphere had reverted to its normal temperature, and the subway's cacophony resumed its familiar cadence. Yet, a subtle iridescence clung to my garments in the window's reflection, akin to dewdrops on a spider's web. Nestled within my pocket, I discovered a ticket stub of unknown origin, inscribed with a script unfamiliar yet inherently comprehensible. Henceforth, during late-night subway voyages, I keenly observed my fellow passengers. Occasionally, when light strikes just so, glimpses of blurred silhouettes and trailing after-images manifest. And on rare occasions, a distant hum resonates not in my ears but within my very essence. A reminder that reality's fluidity extends beyond our perceptions, especially within those transient realms between consciousness and slumber. Story 43. On a misty night, weary and seeking solace, I found myself at the doorstep of an ancient inn perched on the outskirts of a quiet town. The lobby, bathed in a soft glow, welcomed me with its aged charm, but as I stood there, a faint murmur began to stir within the very fabric of the walls. The time-worn wallpaper, the creaking beams overhead, all seemed to hold secrets of yesteryears. Tales of lost souls and forgotten sorrows whispered in the air. The musty aroma of old wood and stagnant air intertwined with the murmurs, drawing me deeper into the enigmatic embrace of the building, a keeper of mysteries shrouded in time. The elderly innkeeper, her silvery hair neatly tied back, placed a brass key in my hand with a trembling gesture. "Room 17, she murmured, her words barely audible over the gentle rain tapping at the window panes. "Beware the floors at night. They have a way of conversing with newcomers." Her cryptic caution might have unsettled me in another moment, but wariness dulled my senses, leaving me longing only for a peaceful slumber. With each step up the carpeted stairs, a soft sigh accompanied my ascent. The wallpaper, adorned with delicate vines and flowers, almost seemed to sway at the edge of my vision, yet remained still when I turned to look directly. As I climbed higher, the air grew heavy with the scent of ancient books and dried lavender, guiding me towards room 17, at the end of a dimly lit corridor. The tarnished brass numbers on the door hinted at years gone by, and as the key slid effortlessly into the lock, it felt as though the room had been anticipating my arrival. Inside, a grand four-poster bed loomed in the center. its dark wood reaching towards the ceiling like outstretched fingers. Heavy curtains framed a rain-streaked window, and an antique armchair occupied a shadowed corner, its fabric worn smooth by generations of occupants. Settling into the bed, the murmurs grew more distinct, not from fellow guests or the storm outside, but from the very essence of the structure itself. The walls seemed to breathe, pulsating with whispered secrets that drew me into their rhythm, my breath sinking with the gentle cadence of the room. In that hazy space between wakefulness and dreams, I began to decipher fragments of the murmurs, echoes of travelers from eras long past, of whispered confidences and love stories that bloomed and faded within those very walls. Amidst the harmonious whispers, a singular voice, soft yet urgent, caught my attention. "Remember the mirror," it urged. My gaze drifted to the ornate mirror above the dresser, its aged surface reflecting not just my image, but something beyond. The glass held depths that transcended the physical realm, offering a glimpse into another time. As I peered deeper, the room's reflection began to shift, subtle alterations painting a fresher, more vibrant picture. Shadows danced in defiance of the lamplight's flicker, and in one corner, the armchair's fabric seemed to mend itself, years of wear undone in a silent ballet of restoration. Yet there was no fear in these transformations, only a profound sense of tranquility. The walls continued their gentle murmur, now accompanied by the soft creak of floorboards and the distant melody of wind through the eaves, weaving a symphony that cradled my consciousness. Throughout the night, I drifted in and out of slumber, each awakening greeted by new whispers, new tales spun by the inn itself. I learned of hidden letters beneath floorboards, clandestine meetings, cloaked in darkness, of joyous revelries and tender farewells, each story a cherished gift bestowed upon me by the ancient walls. With the morning light filtering through rain-washed windows, the whispers gradually faded, the walls settling into a serene silence, having shared their truths with me. As I gathered my belongings, a subtle change caught my eye in the mirror's reflection. A small key resting on the dresser, a silent reminder of the mysteries left unsolved. Some secrets are destined to remain half-whispered, like melodies carried on a distant breeze. Yet the memory of that night at the old inn remains a treasured privilege, a fleeting keeper of its timeless stories. Years have passed, but on quiet nights when the world grows still, I find myself drawn to the ancient walls of old buildings, yearning to catch another whispered tale. And in those moments of tranquility, a faint murmur lingers in the air, beckoning me back to that rain-soaked evening when the veil between past and present blurred, and the essence of time itself was as fragile as aged wallpaper,